You've tuned in to Playing in Traffic. I'm used to signing off the show. Tonight I'm going to sign in the show with your host, Lewis Lee. You got me, Ray Guarino. We got Matt Goban Bryan over here, and we have the Massachusetts Maven up there, right? Look at this.
What's up, fellas?
Doing good.
Hey, I had to say, I worked on my tan the last couple of days because the weather has been great.
Yeah.
I don't know about in your areas, but Ohio is popping.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Down here. See those tan lines.
Yeah, right.
New York,
oh, I got it. Look.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Yeah.
Wait till I really get out on my bike. When I get out on a bike, man, I get black.
You know what does it for me? The driving a convertible. That's how I get my best tan every year. I just drive a convertible, and it's like that's it. You know, that's
I miss my convertible because of that. Because you don't get the one arm that hangs out the window all the time, or
right.
Like I said, it's a good overhead tan. Even that spot in the back of your head right here gets it good.
Yeah. What convertible did you have, Brian?
I had a 69 International Scout, and I could take the roof off.
Right.
That actually, but it's not running.
We're living proof that a sucker really is born every minute. Well,
and
we make it our business.
I had a 84 Mustang LX.
Okay.
So that was my convertible, and the wife had a 94 Mustang GT convertible.
Right. Oh, good. Okay.
We had a few to run in. To stay sunned.
Now that you guys are saying all this, I've never owned a convertible.
You know, I'll tell you a funny story. It goes back to when I was about 6 or 7 years old. My older brother, who's 10 years older than me, one of his friends came by the house and in his convertible, and it was an Olds 442. It was like a 66 or 67, so it was a long, wide, square ones. I remember it was white with this ice blue interior. And, you know, it was the summer of 65, so they were going to go. No, it couldn't have been a 66 or 7. It was probably a little later than that then. It was probably around maybe 68, so I was about 10. And they were going to go for a ride, and I asked, hey, can I go? And they're like, yeah, kid, jump in the back. And ever since that day, just to feel driving in a convertible with the Beach Boys on, and it was like magic, you know. And unbelievably, I never bought one. It took me until the 80s to buy a convertible, and every time I get back in the convertible, I have that feeling comes right back.
That's pretty cool. I don't know why I've never bought one. It does never. I have had cars with T-tops, but no convertibles. I didn't realize until just now.
Right.
Yeah. It was. I missed the Scout because we just roll along and pull into somebody's front yard, unbolt the top, throw it off into the front, and there you went, man. And it was a nice drive with no top.
I did have a 70 Blazer, but I never took the roof off.
It would ruin my hair if you take the top off.
I never took the top off.
Wow. Yeah, it was too hard to take the top off of the Blazers.
You need 3 people.
Yeah, it was a 2-man job at least. I know.
I knew somebody had a garage. He had a whole pulley system set up in the garage so that he just pull in, hook it up, and the pulleys would pull the roof up to the top and he'd back the truck out.
You know, Griot's Garage actually sells a kit like that for the Corvette guys. You know, because you want everything automatic.
They did it with the 911s also for the Ford.
Yeah. Right. Oh, Brian, you should have been in New York today, boy. Again, my Guyanese friend at the shop, Derek. We still got that 911 there that's got to have that front end work done.
Yeah.
And he's got.
They didn't total it.
I guess not. The guy's probably paying to have it fixed.
Oh my God!
He likes the car. It's his car.
Yeah, I know.
And there's a late model Corvette with an LS1 in the shop that's got them. I know it's got everybody's in the world signature on the fuel rail covers. But the problem is the guy left them on the car, and the signatures are all fading away. I couldn't even make them out. That's stupid. That was a dumb move. So, but anyway, so Derek was asking me, you know, like he's working on a Corvette, and he says, "Oh yeah, Corvette." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, this is a Chevrolet, right? I'm like, yeah, last time I looked, Chevrolet made the Corvette. Yeah. So, that's in the bay, and the 911's right outside. And he says, which one is better? Which one's faster? I said, well, the Vettel spanked the 911 in a straight-out run. I said, but the Corvettes were really built and continue to be built to fight cars just like that. I said, there's guys, diehard Porsche guys, who'll tell you that's the best thing since sliced bread. And then you got the Corvette guys over here. Mm-hmm. He goes, well, what do you think? What do you think? I said, I want one of each.
Yeah, right.
You know what Porsche's market is, though, right?
Corners.
No, it's the Corvette guy. Because the guy that owns Porsche used to own a Corvette.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
Oh, really?
That was their market. They would go after the Corvette guys because you started out in the Vet. Where else do you go after that? You went into the 11.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's why I told him. I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to get Macco Man down here one day. He's going to tell you all about these cars. He's like, oh, Macco Man coming. When's Macco Man coming? Like, he's got to fix his truck first. Forget it. He ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, no shit. I need to get that truck on the road, man.
So what happened with that filter that you were looking into? What's the deal? What's the deal with that?
Well, I guess. Well, the problem is, I can't find any real information on the truck. I mean, diagnostic wise, it's kind of a pain in the ass finding information. But I think because of that, I'm waiting for that pressure differential switch to come in. I think that's setting a hard code, and it won't let me do anything else. I can't clear it. I can't do anything, and I just need to get that switch. The switch is supposed to be here tomorrow, I hope. And but I think it's just faulty. And then, like I said, I'm gonna take the filter out and clean it, and hopefully get back on the road next week. Do it this week.
He had asked me, why can't the tool man fix his truck? And I said, well, because it's an oddball problem. And I said, I think it's more like this. I said, I think if he doesn't have somewhere on his route who has the right information, he either needs more customers or a different route.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's funny because in my area, I don't have any I don't have any big equipment or heavy duty trucks or anything like that. If you go 20 miles up towards Baltimore, that's the guy up there. That's all he has is heavy duty trucks.
Yeah.
Area. And plus, when I called, when I called the truck place, two of them, they told me they can't get to it for another 2 weeks.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
I can't let it sit up there for 2 weeks.
Yeah. See, now if they were an account of yours, you could hold a little bit like, hey, listen, if you don't want me to come back to sell you tools for 2 weeks,
slide me.
Yeah, well, I did have one guy say I could come by, but I'll probably get bombarded with warranty because he goes, we don't have a Macco guy here, but we need some stuff fixed. And I'm like, well, okay.
It's my truck first, and I'll warranty him after.
Yeah, I need my truck first.
Well, while they're working on your truck, you could be in the back selling tools.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, do they make a rivet remover tool?
Rivet remover. It's usually just like a special
air
chisel with a fork.
Yeah, or a drill bit.
How big are the rivets?
I have one for carburetors, and it really is. It's about a 3 or 4 inch long. Looks like a chisel with just a forked end on it, and it's kind of sharp. And you just chisel the rivet. What kind of rivets are you looking to remove, Louis?
On the bus. Yeah, thousands of them.
You're taking the panels off it?
Yeah, well, when I lift the roof, I'm going to take the rivets off all the way around the whole edge.
I would use a pneumatic gun then, yeah. You're going to be taking a lot of them out.
Yeah, I seen a guy on YouTube hitting it with a air chisel, and it was coming out pretty easy. But I didn't know if they made an actual bit or a tool.
Yeah, they make a drill bit for it, and then they make a, like Ray said, it's like an air hammer chisel.
Yeah. If you've ever seen a panel cutter, it's like a forked end with another, like with a third
It's a third, like the
Right. So it's that without the third piece.
Mhm.
yeah.
The rivet cutter. Yeah. I
Okay.
have one of those in my my set of impact bits.
All right. I'm just making sure because I'm listen. I'm getting old and overweight.
Yeah.
I want everything to go easy. I'm gonna buy the best tool to do the job.
You know, it'd be nice if they used aluminum rivets.
I think they did.
That'd be great. Oh, they're gonna come right out. Right out.
They'll come right out. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's a lot
Now,
of
what
them,
about
man.
replacing them though? What are you gonna do when it comes time to replace them?
Put rivets back in.
Have you
Yeah.
sourced it out yet? I wouldn't even know where to get them from. I mean,
Yeah. Granger has them.
okay.
Granger. Morrison. I think it's Morrison. And what's the other company? Because I sell the big. It's a big rivet for window regulators on the Fords and
Rivets are us.
And I mean, you could. You buy packs of 25. You would need to get like a box of 100 or whatever.
Yeah,
Or more,
I
right?
get 100. I get 100 from Granger. I think it was $18.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's great. Yeah, that's a good price.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're quarter-inch
Quarter-inch. Yeah,
rivets. Yeah.
they're. Do they have the? Do they have the like a spline shaft on them so they don't spin, or do you know?
I don't know.
He'll know once he knocks a couple of them out.
Yeah.
That's the next step. Now you could also use a pointed punch on the impact on the pneumatic impact
Hammer.
and drive them out with that too instead of using a hammer and chisel.
Ray, you ain't listening. I'm not hammering and chiseling. I'm gonna get the
Right.
air.
You got to go get some air tools. And a
You
good-
need to go down to the 7-Eleven or the Wawa or whatever's around the corner and pick up about 8 or 9 day helpers.
Yeah.
And you just you cut them loose. That's what you do on that. So,
Hey, I might go pick up some guys to do these seats. I gotta take all these seats out.
Yeah.
So what, you put a little dab of silicone on every one once you put them all back in?
No. Because when I put the new panel up, when I raise the roof, I'm putting the new panel in, and I'll have silicone in there. You know what I mean? So it'll hit them.
the only thing that you want to make sure is whatever you're using, you want to make sure you get the right rivet, because I'll show you when on my tool truck, the guy that owned it before me wiped out the side of it and they replaced the panel.
Mhm.
And they used aluminum rivets into steel. And for a period of time, now I got it's a rust
That's corroding.
corroding, and it's a real pain to make sure that you don't have that, especially when you put the two panels together. There's a lot of prep to it because it will corrode.
Mhm.
And it's kind of a pain in the ass, but
You need stainless steel?
Stainless,
Huh?
yeah. Probably stainless, right?
yeah, it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I'll make sure. Yeah, believe me, I'll make sure. I'm only
Because
doing
a
it
lot-
once.
Yeah, because when they replaced that panel, then I later found out, because that was right before I was getting it, the part was on back order. And so I think they just used a flat piece of steel to patch in that area. And that's why, like I said, I had all this corrosion.
Oh, that's terrible.
Even on my old truck, when they did the lift gate, they didn't prep the panels correctly, where they overlapped,
Mm-hmm.
and they started to corrode. But that was when I bought it new, and I argued and got money back from it. And I was supposed to go get it fixed, but the guy told me, he said to take that whole lift gate apart and then have to dip it in acid. You gotta get it dipped in acid, clean it, prep it. He said, dude, I will even, you got to find the right guy with the right mentality to do that, because it'll just come right back again. So that's the only problem with that stuff.
Here, John snuck in on us. What up, John?
There he is.
Whoa.
John, I heard you last night
Oh yeah.
talking to Richard Roddings.
Yeah. That's
Can
pretty
we
cool.
talk about that show on here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Your buddy Lou's other show.
He was calm.
I always thought Richard was an ass, but he actually didn't seem as much of an ass last night.
He was pretty normal.
Hey,
He wasn't drinking.
No, he was, but not enough.
no.
I
Hey,
thought that was the
Lou.
only thing was I thought that was funny that he said he lost his beer sponsor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh.
isn't that funny?
he should come up with his
Yeah.
own beer.
So I
Sponsor
don't know
himself.
what he was drinking, but he said that he needed to find a beer sponsor.
Yeah.
So much
That's funny.
so late.
The sponsor left when the show left.
Wow.
Well, when he canceled the show.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what I heard, but yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Hey, Lewis, have you had Aaron Kaufman on here?
Yes. Oh no. But I'm reaching out to him though.
Well, I'm going to Carlisle next weekend, and he's supposed to be there. Mike Finnegan was supposed to be there, but I guess I don't know what happened. It got canceled, and now Kaufman's coming in. So
Feed those guys links on your phone. Show them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I'll hit
Appreciate
him
it.
up just like I did Dan Short.
Yeah, Dan.
You going to Carlisle?
Yeah,
When is that, this weekend or next weekend?
next weekend,
Oh yeah, I might have to go.
Friday and Saturday. It's GM Nationals.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Not for you Ford people.
That cut you out, Brian. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the Ford guy on Sunday.
It's okay. I go up there and say, man, this would look really good if you had a coyote in it, and just walk over. I'll have my shirt LS socks and coyotes. Great. That's all right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Mustangs around these days with LSs in them.
Oh yeah, I know. They all make mistakes. It's okay. Don't worry, John. You'll be in there. That Pontiac will have an LS in it. Don't worry.
Never.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
I didn't watch
famous last
Time
words on
Resurrection
that.
yet, but I watched part of it, thumbing through, and it looks like they're putting an Ellis in a Ford.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's all right.
I got 2 Mark IV big blocks sitting here. I got heads in the other shop, six Brodex and Dart racing heads, all for Mark IV stuff. Ain't happening.
Yeah.
No LS
Nothing
for
like
this
a-
boy.
Nothing like an old school big block.
I don't go for that junkyard stuff that you just beat up till it dies. Not
You
happening.
can beat the crap out of those Mach 4s, and it'll just keep
Exactly.
taking a licking and keep on ticking.
Well, those LSs ain't messing around either though. That's a
No,
good
they-
motor.
It's a good build. Yeah. I don't know. I
I'm
just don't
old
like
school.
them. They're funky.
You're just old school because you're afraid
Yeah.
of it, just like myself.
No, I'm not afraid of it. It's just too much weirdness about it. When you grow up with the architecture of big block, small block, Chevy,
Yeah.
when you got friends, good friends that are Ford guys and good guys that are Chrysler guys, that's the engine, style that works. The LS stuff, I relate the LS stuff to like generation like Y and Z and
Yeah.
X. Yeah, that's like, you know what I'm saying? I put as good as the LS platform is, and I'm amazed at what you can do. That you could go buy a $500 or $600 junkyard motor and just clean it up and put some parts on it and make 1,000 horsepower out of it.
Crazy.
And it's stock bottom end and the whole deal. So okay, yeah, great. It's wonderful, but I packaged that nice and neatly in the same box as the morons with the coffee can mufflers and the 2 JZ engines. It's foreign to me.
Yeah.
You know how a port that's pointed on the top and looks like the profile of a cathedral
Yeah.
can make horsepower is not the world I come from.
Yeah.
I come from big giant rectangles or pro stock style oval ports.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I'm an elephant. I'll always be a dinosaur.
You're not alone. Definitely not alone.
It's weird.
Yeah, everybody has their taste,
Yeah. No, like I said, I don't knock it. I'm amazed by it. It's
Me too.
it's truly amazing. But you'll never see one of them sitting in between the fenders of any car I ever own.
Yeah.
It's not happening. No.
So Ray, you get your car out on the road yet?
I was driving it today.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk about it, I have, I'll put it out to the Brain Trust because I'm having an issue that I've been having for a while and I haven't solved. And it has to do with timing. And I'm kind of at a loss. My car loves initial timing. I mean, it wants like 16, 20, 22 degrees of initial timing. Loves it.
Start?
Yeah, loves it. Car eats it up. The motor runs smooth as can be. I got good vacuum. And then, of course, I have mechanical and vacuum advance going as well.
What about cranking speed, though, at that?
Not a problem. I'm using a Power Master starter, so that's not a problem. The problem is the car won't idle under I was having a trouble. I couldn't. It wasn't idling like under 1,200 RPM. So I said, okay, I'm following all the basics. I went back and I cranked it down, base timing to like 8. They said 6 to 8 degrees. Bring it down to like 8 degrees. Boom! Now it's rumbling. The motor's shaking a little. It's idling really low, but you can't breathe in the garage. It's so freaking rich. It's ridiculous.
There's no vacuum leaks?
No, everything is tight. And
cam timing.
Well, I actually was thinking about that, but
a degree in it.
I didn't put the cam in. The guy who built the engine did, and he knows his stuff. So I was playing around, and I did find a little bit of an issue with the choke mechanism, where when the choke came off, the fast idle cam, the screw was catching just the end of it, which held the idle up a little. So I lengthened the rod to put more pressure on it. That got me down to like 1,040 RPM.
Right.
And the car runs fine. It drives great. Again, I'm running like 16 degrees initial with good vacuum. I just, but I have the idle screws. I can bring them right off the stops on the carburetors, and the car will still idle at 1,040 RPM with the timing like that. Crank the timing down, the idle will fall, but then it goes rich as hell. Now, the power pistons and springs that the Edelbrocks use, I put in the lightest springs possible. The blue springs, 3 inches of mercury. At idle, those things are buried, which means the thick part of the rod is in the jet. It's in the leanest position possible.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, that's, and the carburetors were designed and built for a dual quad application, and they were built to be a little lean. They're like 500.
And you don't have like a warp shaft or a butterfly.
The carbs are brand new. So is anything
not Chinese?
No, they don't say Chinese on them. Edelbrocks actually have the Weber stamping on them. Yeah, because that's who owns them now.
Vitec makes a dual quad fuel injected system.
I was just looking yesterday at the Sniper.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, maybe a Holley Sniper. Yeah, I know. Well, I got to find a deal. What I got to do is I got to call Tori and say, Tori, who's your guy at Holley?
Yeah.
Or John, who's your
Fuel
guy?
Injection's the way to go.
Yeah.
Hate to say it.
I'll get you a price if you want out of my account.
When I did the gas tank, I already had a return line plumbed into it with the thought of maybe going to fuel injection someday.
I did the same thing on the Cadillac.
You just got to have the right regulator.
Well, the nice thing about the new throttle bodies is the regulator's built in. The ECU is built into the throttle body. That's all part of it. You don't have to run a separate computer. It's all in there.
Well, the Holley fuel injection I did, I had to run a regulator.
Okay. The one
but maybe it's because mine is based off of, it's a giant one, like a Dominator carburetor.
Right.
So it had the whole ECU built into it, but you had to supply fuel to it at 65 PSI.
Yeah, the Sniper is good for like 600 up to 600 horsepower, and it's I think regulated. I think it's about 58 PSI, but it's regulated at the throttle body. So,
yeah, some of those you don't need a return line, which I don't understand how they don't need it.
Yeah, right.
They deadhead them? Which ones are those?
Holley's doing like you could buy a replacement sending unit to drop, let's say, in a 70 Chevelle in a stock tank, and it doesn't have a return, and it has some type of a regulator or something built into the pump that I don't know. I don't understand how.
Is that got the variable speed pump?
Yeah, it must be the variable speed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably how they're getting away with it. I think there's some units that have a variable speed pump.
Right.
I know Aeromotive makes a pump system like that, and it knows what the fuel injection's doing.
Yeah.
So it knows when to ramp up the pump speed and when to back it down.
That's how the newer cars are running too. That's all.
Yeah.
That's technology on the new cars.
Camaro I did had an internal pump. It was all part of the tank from
Right.
Tanks Inc. makes the system, and it was a main line out, was a vent and a return,
Right.
all, and you drop it in. Had this, and the sending unit was next to it,
Yeah.
so it was super easy to do. And and that particular one you had to run -8 out and back, and
Right.
2 filters, and a bypass regulator,
Yeah.
which kind of had me sort of weirded out, because typically on a regulator you feed the fuel in from the bottom and it goes out the sides.
Right.
Same exact looking regulator labeled as a bypass regulator. The pressurized fuel came in from the side and went out the bottom. And like, in other words, like if this was the regulator, I was bringing the fuel in on this side,
Yeah.
but there was a T-fitting which went directly to the secondaries, and then out of the other side of the regulator to the primaries,
Huh.
and out of the bottom was the return.
Well, I have to look at those
And-
directions 3
And
times.
they're
to make sure I got them
they're
right.
saying it's because the regulator is dropping the pressure and sending it back, that the fuel coming through from the pump is at the pressure that they're looking for. And
Right.
when I turned it on, I just had to move that little needle valve and got the
See, that's the
pressure
way-
back to where it had to be.
That's the way mine is too. The return is coming out of the bottom.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Because I've seen other regulators, like all the stuff that we did for nitrous, the fuel comes in at the bottom, goes out at the top. But those are deadhead regulators.
Yeah.
I've also seen other regulators that have a dedicated return outlet. So the fuel still comes in at the bottom, goes out on the sides, and also a third side one is your return line. So to me, that makes more common sense.
Yeah.
I just kind of had trouble wrapping my head around sending the fuel from the pump at full flow and going directly into the fuel injection unit and going through the regulator and then to the fuel injection unit on the other side. And I'm like, how does that balance,
Right. Right.
But obviously it does. So
Well,
Yeah.
listen to this. The other day I went to move the car, and I smelled gas. So I get out right close to the regulator. In the new braided hose, it's got a pinhole shooting out gas.
Wow.
At least it's close where I can get it. Get to it. But I'm just pissed. I didn't have the car yet.
You sure the braid wasn't from like a Chinese finger torture thing, and it came out of like Wong Fat's restaurant? Or
It
something?
might be, man.
whose
Like
hose
it-
was it?
It doesn't sound like a Russell.
I think I ordered them off Amazon. I don't know.
Yeah.
You gotta watch that stuff.
There's no hose in there. It's just braid.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Is it possible it's leaking at the fitting and seeping under the braid and coming up?
No, it's
Big.
shooting out. It's shooting out like a pinhole. Like it's
Not
shooting.
pressure, yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Wow.
Yeah. So luckily, it's up
Yeah.
up where I can get to it because
Stuff like hose, you got to use name brands.
yeah.
Red
Tell
Horse.
you, man, this is the stuff that
Pearls.
drives me crazy. Like getting that stuff for my tool truck. You see a price and it's whatever it is, $1,800 for something, but you find it for $7,000 someplace, and it's like, man, you
And
take
on
more than that, you know?
Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Well, I'm still a kid. I'm learning.
Yeah.
yeah, well,
Well, the problem is the rules have changed. With Amazon, that's a game changer, and it's so attractive, and we use it all the time, and everything looks great.
Yeah, but you know what? You got to watch that,
you do.
because a lot of the companies that I deal with also sell through Amazon.
Mhm.
So I can order something from a company in Pennsylvania, a pump, and say the pump is like $439, and I get free shipping anything over like $200. So they send it to me for nothing. Okay, so it's for me it's $439. You go on Amazon, and it's $445.
Yeah.
And you get the free shipping because it's Amazon Prime.
Right.
Okay. So you're paying more for the product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, you got the Amazon Prime deal. But I think the trick with Amazon is people go on.
Easy.
It's easy. They see it, and they go, "Oh, great! Click, buy, ship it to me. I'll have it by Friday.
Yeah.
No problem." But they don't bother to take the time to go look around elsewhere and find out. Oh, well, if I pay, $8 shipping, I can get it in 6 days. But this guy's charging $30 less than Amazon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I just ran into that today because I was looking at the air rivet tool,
right.
and I seen that Granger for what was it?
Well, great.
Granger's expensive.
Anything you buy at Granger is
Well, no.
6 times more than what it costs.
Well, no, it wasn't the gun. It wasn't the tool. It was the rivets. The rivets were 100 for like $18, and they were selling like 50 on Amazon for $15.
Yeah.
So that's what happened to me today. I did that today and seen that. I was like, what?
I was so lucky when I had Chassis Connection on Long Island, out by MacArthur Airport. So you're talking like a 20-minute ride. Was a company. It was an industrial company that made screws and rivets.
Mhm.
So I would go there and buy all my machine screws, and they would set you up not by like piece count, but like by the pound.
Yeah.
And they have that deal with that digital scale where the guy will take like 5 screws, drop them on a scale, punches in the quantity of 5, and then just starts dumping, and it's automatically counting it up. So you can tell the guy, yeah, I need 1,000 of these, and he just pours them into the hopper, and boop, 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 and there you go. They also made like 200 different styles of rivets, and they sold a lot of stuff to the aircraft industry. So they had the squish rivets that use the bucking bar and the air hammer.
Yeah.
They also had all kinds of regular rivets that you pull through with a gun. And we would buy like a box. Literally, I would go because we used a ton of 1/8-inch rivets. So we would get the ones with the regular head. We would get the ones with the large flange. We would get them in like 3 different lengths based on what you were trying to rivet together. And we would buy 20-pound boxes of rivets. And like a 20-pound box of rivets wholesale, it was like $35.
Wow.
And we would have these huge boxes of rivets on the shelf. You could just go with guys used to bring like a Tupperware kind of cup.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had a couple of those at their workstation. You just grab a handful of rivets and you bring them over to where you're working. It was phenomenal. Hardware.
USA, right?
Yeah, all made right there in Hop Hog. Right out by the airport. Just phenomenal. Haven't been able to find anybody like that here.
Wow.
Just doesn't exist. And those guys sold the business, and whatever conglomerate bought it, moved them off Long Island. I guess taxes and stuff. So it was a shame. But you gotta know what you're looking for. There are companies that just sell screws and rivets, which could probably be better for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm doing really.
The other thing you need to do for the bus maybe is open up a corporation. Because then once you have that resale certificate for your state, that kind of allows you to go buy stuff at a better price.
Well, I can do it through my. I still got my trucking company.
There you go.
Stuff.
You utilize it. It makes a big difference in the end.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
easy to monitor that stuff. You got to pay some corporate tax, big deal. But you get stuff for a better price if you're running it as a corporation.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I'm gonna do. I got my website all done. Check it out. When I grow up, I'm gonna travel in a schoolie.
Nice.
That's it. I saw that. I copied that. I put that link into my favorites.
There she blows.
Yeah.
That's Claire. My wife named her after her mom's middle name.
That's cool.
Okay.
Maybe get a vanity license plate for it too.
Yeah. Miss Claire.
There you go.
I think we're gonna go with a purplish, like a plum. Like see it here in the letters.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But then it's the color we're gonna paint it flat. That flat paint or wrap.
Plum crazy.
Yep. So
Or you know what you do? You can get that bed liner now that's tintable.
yeah. Yep.
Spray the whole outside of that thing with that bed liner. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You never
It'd
have
be
to worry
quiet,
about
too.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah. There's several people have done that. I've seen on YouTube. They painted it with that.
Yeah. I got there's a guy that lives around the corner. It's got a CJ7. He did the whole thing in bright blue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Black. He took the interior out, did the whole tub of the Jeep in black, did the whole outside in like a robin's egg blue. It's got big tires on it, lights, roll bar, the whole 9 yards. He just takes the pressure washer after he goes mudding. You can't kill that stuff,
Right.
you know. And he
I wonder what it cost him.
He did it at low pressure because I was talking to him, and I did the same thing when I did the Camaro, which gives it a lot more texture.
Oh, really?
When you run it at low pressure, it has a tendency to kind of lump up more, you know, and you get some areas where there'll be like some larger dots. It just gives it a nice, rougher texture, and it's just so easy to take care of, you know. Like on the Firebird, I'm doing the whole, after I get this thing, like before it goes to the body shop, the whole inside, firewall, before there's any electronics or wiring or plumbing or anything, the whole inside of the car will be bed liner coated. And I'm going to do the whole trunk area also. Just do it once and done. Underneath, inside the wheel tubs, I'm going to do all of that. The whole steel floor under the car. I'll put this thing up on a rotisserie, turn it sideways, and spray away, just like I did with that 67 Camaro. It comes out nice, it's consistent, and it's just nothing can kill it, you know? It's
How
phenomenal.
heavy is that stuff, though? Aren't you going to add a lot of weight to the car?
What do I care? It's a street car.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's probably lighter than Dynamat.
Yeah, it's not a drag car, and you know, it's
Not that
super,
heavy.
super nice. It's not real heavy, you know.
And then you got like a gun that has like you
You get
could
the Schutz gun.
Harbor Freight.
like change it. You
Well,
change
it
the tip.
came with the stuff. No, there's no tip on it. It's actually
There's no
it's an actual, it's a tube.
A tube, right? But I think that tube you could change because you could change. Because I sold something at the Ford dealership for their undercoating because
Yeah.
it's like a 2, 4, 6, 8, and it all that does is it tell you how big of a
Oh.
or a spray. You know, it's
Well,
kind
this gun came with the kit.
yeah,
Trying to think of the name of the
like
company.
$35 or something, right? $45. It wasn't that bad.
No, it's inexpensive, and they even sell it at like AutoZone.
Yeah,
I wonder how many gallons does it take me to do the bus?
A lot.
A lot.
a lot.
Honestly, a pickup truck bed's like $450, $500 to have it done.
Yeah.
So
Well,
your bus
that's-
is like what?
That's
Well,
their labor.
40 of
hour.
those?
You're paying for labor. The material's cheap.
Yeah.
It's
You
it's
probably
like
go to a 55-gallon drum to do it.
I think I paid for 4 bottles. It's like $30, and the bottle screws right onto the gun.
Yeah.
They give you a hardener activator. Let me try and find it.
Yeah, I did. I bought a kit. It wasn't that bad because I bought it because I was on the bed in my pickup truck. Especially when they started with the, you could tint it to any color because I have a white pickup, but I didn't want to do a black insert. I wanted to have it the white. And I think it's Gator. God, what was the name of that stuff? Gator something. But it wasn't that bad. I just know that at the Ford dealership, they wanted something to do. They wanted one with a changeable tip. I think it was something like $69 for the gun because they wanted to be able to get a bigger spray pattern. and that's why they had like two. It was like 4, 8, 6, and 12 or something like that. That was the size of the barrel or the tip.
Gator
Raptor.
or Raptor?
Yeah, Raptor.
And
Yeah.
then this is the gun they give you.
What?
Yeah.
So what you do, you crack the top open. See this line that's here?
Mm-hmm.
The material's like down here somewhere.
Yeah.
You pour the activator in until it's at this line. Then you shake it up for like 30 seconds. Open the top, put the gun on. And then you just you do a spray out and you adjust the pressure on the gun, the airflow,
Yeah.
to get the pattern you want. Once you got that set, you don't have to do anything. Then you just pull the trigger and go.
Does that tip unscrew?
Yes.
It's like another coating gun, basically.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
basically like an undercoating gun.
But yeah, like I said, I think if you look really research, you
This
can.
thing, it's wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah, about a 1/4 inch diameter.
See how that barrel is. See how that barrel. I think they had the different size is how big it is.
Bigger at the back than in the front.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think because I remember I had to do the Ford dealership. They needed I can't remember, but I had to get some different tips for it.
Wow. Well, this tip that they give you with the kit when you buy it from these guys,
Yeah.
the gun is from them. The company's U-Pol, U-P-O-L. And it comes in a box. They give you the whole deal. And then when you're done, lacquer thinner cleans it right up.
Mhm.
I just take a container, stick this right, wash it all off with the lacquer thinner to clean it, and then I stick it in a container of lacquer thinner and shoot it until it runs clear.
How'd you spell it?
U-P-O-L. And the stuff is called Raptor. R-A-P-T-O-R. And it comes in a couple of colors, and there's a white. You can get white, and your body shop can tint it for whatever color you want.
And that stuff is there's two different ones. There's UV, and there's also one with temperature.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Well, I'm definitely gonna do under the bus because I gotta first I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get the rust off.
Definitely.
You need a hopper.
Sandblasted with a hopper.
A hopper. You need to find a guy that has that water. I mean the
Dustless blasting
thing.
Yeah.
And have him come out and do it because it goes real. There's a guy around here that does it, and I tell you, man. For what
He'll get up under it?
Huh?
Under the bus? He'll get up under the bus and do it?
Oh yeah, he'll do that whole damn bus.
Huh.
But,
Keith that comes on here, my buddy, he said he knows somebody local here that does it. So
good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit him
Hey,
up.
speaking of local, I don't know if you guys caught it. I didn't at first, but I got a message from Keith Sturgeon. He was on American Pickers. His artwork
His
was on
piece.
American Pickers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really?
I got a picture of it. The guy was he just picked up it was like a VW engine cover that had, Skeeter graphics in like a white on it. He put it on social media, but I was wondering what's the backstory? Because the guy never mentioned it, never made never said anything about it. He just picked it up and then they put it down. So I was like, hey, what was that all about?
Yeah, they came here. Well, Keith was on here and he said they were coming. I think the next weekend, but I didn't get to see the show yet. They were here twice, but I still haven't seen the first time they came.
I thought that show got canceled.
No, they're still moving.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was all that stuff that I was reading about?
Well, the one guy left.
The chubby dude with the
Right, he's not on the show
beard.
anymore.
Like they said, he was going to jail. I was involved in some kind of craziness. I don't know. And the girl back at the office, it's all tatted up. She was involved in some kind of crap.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stories about her. I met her up at the Syracuse National. She's really a sweetheart. She's a real nice, real nice person.
Yes, she is.
Who are we talking about?
American
Talk
Pickers.
about Willis.
Oh. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike, supposedly I keep seeing stuff that I can't see specifics, but like the show's been canceled and this and that. But
Yeah,
there's
like
all
all
new
kinds of-
episodes.
All kinds of
Well,
weird stuff.
The new season just started Tuesday night.
Really?
Proved that it wasn't canceled.
That's good.
Actually, it's been 3 weeks. Well, the third one will be on this week.
The first one was just on this week.
I just watched the second one.
Oh, on what do you have? Like on a streaming
DVR.
service?
I haven't had time to watch any.
It was on the History Channel, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're watching it on the
Story.
stream, so you're seeing it advanced, I guess.
No, I got cable. I don't do the stream.
I got
I
cable
recorded
too.
on
The first one
DVR.
was on Tuesday night.
Trying
Man,
think
John,
of what-
you're trying to
what the
get me
episode
broke.
is about.
This stuff's expensive.
What do you mean?
My money's different than your money.
How much is it?
Like, let's see.
Well, then I can afford.
Yeah, four quarts, $2.89.
I didn't pay anywhere near that.
Wow.
I mean, you got a special deal.
You
No,
know,
this is a
What's your
kit.
chance?
I knew a
John.
guy.
listen. it's
Wow.
not
I mean,
just-
I ran out of it, and I went to the auto body supply, and I bought stuff.
Sometimes you get better deal than
Right.
you can online.
And then I happened to be in AutoZone. They also sell it at Walmart. I was in AutoZone, and it was like $40 less for the same
Oh,
box
wow.
of 4 bottles that I bought. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
I just bought a gallon of fiberglass resin. I'm online. I'm looking at Walmart. I'm looking at on Amazon, and it was cheaper at Home Depot.
Really?
I'm like, so I went to Home Depot and bought it.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
will tell you,
I don't get it.
it's
You
not
got to
just
shop
meat.
around.
It's not just meat and wood that went through the sky. I decided,
That's true. I bought that stuff a year ago.
yeah,
Ooh.
I decided I went back to something I was looking at a while ago. I want to buy an AFR meter to mount in the car.
Yeah.
And I remember them being about $150. I'm like, I don't want to spend $150 on a gauge. I should have, because now I went online and I found the Auto Meter, Sport Comp. They even have they have the ones with the digital. They're all digital with the display. They actually have
It's like
an
an
analog.
LED sweep.
No,
Yeah.
but they have an analog. Looks like an oil pressure gauge. It's just
Oh,
a
yeah.
dial and $219. I'm like,
yeah.
they went up. Like, I
Okay.
should have
Yeah.
bought it at 150. Now,
But we're not getting paid any more money to be able to afford more expensive stuff.
so now I got to look around and I don't know.
You know what? I'm gonna invite them on the show. We gotta talk.
What do I need? Yeah, I need a 3670 Sport Comp 2 analog AFR meter. That's what I want.
Mm.
No, I'm talking about this Raptor.
Oh,
Oh,
Raptor.
U-Pole, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to do one for my S10. I think I can tag the oxygen sensor and go off of, still go
You
to the
know,
computer and go to a
It's
thing.
kind of touchy tapping off of O2 leads. It's not really a recommended thing. Yeah. I would want to make a Y harness to plug into the O2 sensor that Y's off, so you can just do a plug and play. I would rather do that.
Isn't there a possibility, though, that you get feedback?
I'm not 100% sure.
It's just sensing, isn't it?
Yes, but
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
O2 sensors are really sensitive.
Yeah, definitely.
The
Definitely.
cable is
Yeah.
very sensitive
That's
to
why I say
any
don't
kind
cons-
of
They
RF
have to breathe.
interference.
They have to breathe. If you put any kind of stuff on them, I mean, there's a lot of funny stuff with O2 sensors.
Right.
You actually want to
and
mount them at a 45-degree angle too. You don't want to mount them vertical
Right.
or any lower
so
angle.
so they don't get wet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So-
I would tend to think you'd probably be better off running dual sensors, dedicated.
Well, that's the thing that gets me with all these EFI systems. They run, well, not all of them, but most of them. They give you one O2 sensor.
Somebody
it-
explained that to me, because I said to myself, why wouldn't you have one in each bank?
Yeah, well, good. Explain it to me, please. Because
Well, because the fuel injection system is, think of a carburetor.
Mhm.
It's centrally located. So the reason that you would wind up running 2 sensors is if you had 4 injectors on each side.
Yeah.
Now you're running bank O2.
Right.
And then if you get into race cars, there's a sensor in each tube and a header. So it's individual cylinder.
Right.
So anything that's kind of like a carburetor based system, in other words, one central injector, doesn't make a difference if it's coming off the left or it's coming off the right. They're just grabbing a number and adjusting according to that number. If it's true fuel injection with individual injectors, then the next step up is to left bank, right bank. And then if you want to get stupid, you run an injector, an O2 on each individual cylinder, so you can tune each cylinder individually. You wind up with one cylinder goes lean for a second, it fattens itself up without richening everything else.
Right.
So I was completely confused, thinking, why wouldn't you have 2 sensors? And then
I'm thinking,
somebody explained it to me and said, idiot, you don't need 2 sensors.
No, I'm thinking, but if half the engine was affected by an issue like a head gasket or something, and that's where the sensor was, that it's going to be adjusted for that and ignoring the other side, which would be running normal.
Yeah, but the problem is,
but you can't
throttle
do
body
either
systems
side.
just drop. They just drop into a plenum.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
unless you got a dual plane.
Well, yeah, that was the other question.
But the problem with a dual plane is half of it feeds the left side, the other half feeds the right side.
So there you go. That's the other
and
thought
vice
I had.
versa.
What I would think that running an open plenum intake would be the way to go with one of these systems. And I'm reading on the Holley site, and they said you could use a dual plane or an open. I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense to me. I think you'd want an open plenum.
Well, they say if it's a dual plane, if your manifold doesn't have that drop down in the middle wall, which basically allows both sides to breathe equally, then you have to actually machine that into it in order for it to be accurate.
I have an intake it's a Ram Air 4 intake. It's actually kind of rare. Actually, the thing's worth a bunch of money. It's a 2-piece intake. It's an aluminum. It's an aluminum spreadbore intake, but the center section where the heat riser is cast iron, and it's separate. So what they did is they had to put it on the cars to sell them, but when they raced those cars, they pulled that center section out and they plugged the ports in the heads. So now no exhaust heat heats up the carburetor. And I'm thinking, boy, with the fuel injection, that would be perfect.
Yeah. Well, I remember that on my Pontiac. You've got those in the middle of the head, that exhaust crossover.
Yeah.
But then when I went to like an Edelbrock manifold, the manifold mounting flange went right over that.
Blocked it off,
Yeah.
It blocked it off,
Right.
So I could see that. But on a typical dual plane manifold, if you just take the left side is feeding 2 cylinders to the left and 2 cylinders to the right.
Right.
So having 2 O2 sensors really isn't helping you in that case. Because if it reads that there's a problem with the 2 on that one on the right side of the motor, when it leans that out, it's going to affect the left side of the motor.
Yeah, I
just think more data, that way.
More data is better because it can process. Just has more data to process.
Well, my fuel injection tuner said, if you're going to do fuel injection again, go for the Holley Dominator, whatever they call it, fuel injection unit. It's a big black box.
Yeah,
and it can run the whole car. It's that powerful. But he says you go with the kind that's got an individual injector for each cylinder.
Oh yeah,
because you can just fine tune that thing like a sewing machine.
Yeah, port injection is always better fine tuned than a throttle body.
So,
well, anyway, if you talk to the Holley guys, I'd be interested in finding out what a sniper kit would cost.
I can get you price on that right away. All right.
There he is.
Government 66.
Oh, Terry.
We got a celebrity in the house.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, Terry, when are we going to see Monster Garage on regular TV without streaming? I'm still waiting. They're a bunch of slackers.
I heard that they didn't go for another season. That's what I heard. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How do I see those without streaming?
You got a Fire Stick? I don't know.
Yeah,
Hey,
bootleg.
Roku.
You know,
Yeah,
I
get
can't
a-
answer that question. I don't know because I mean, I had to pay for it to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would think they would have gave us a copy of it, but no.
Hey, I saw
Really?
your
They
buddy
couldn't-
last week, Terry.
Cheap bastards.
They
They
should
didn't
have
give
just
us a copy. Nope.
burned you a thumb drive or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they were, you know, what happened? They probably didn't do that because they figured the first thing that happened is you would have seen it like on Facebook or either YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why they didn't do it. But now they could.
Yeah.
You know,
Crazy.
it is.
What's
What it
going
is.
on?
My buddy Ray Levine last week.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Say again?
Ray. You know Ray with the 70 Red Chevelle?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Ray Levine, 70. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I saw him last week.
Where'd you see him?
Well, he's like 15 minutes from me.
Oh, all right.
We were in the Chevelle Club for when I had my 64 back in the day. I mean, I've seen him all the time.
No, tell him I said what's up, please.
In fact, he just went to this place, Bass Pro Shop. It's where the Patriots play.
Mhm.
Out in Foxborough, Mass. Foxborough, rather. 2,000 cars tonight. Big cruise night.
Wow. I gotta hurry and do my Chevelle. Get that rolling.
So what's going on with it? What's the update that you can share with
What
us?
color?
No. Oh, y'all seen the color, right?
Oh, you put the video up?
Yeah, man.
Oh, I missed
Yeah,
it.
the last video. Yeah, the color. Hold on a second. Let me see.
Oh, it's sweet. I've seen it, but
You seen it,
man,
right? Everyone saw it. I thought everyone saw it.
it's sweet.
I got a big complaint with YouTube because I'm subscribed to a bunch of different channels,
And they're
and
not showing up.
I click the bell and I click all. So I should be getting emails or something on my phone saying
Yep.
Terry just put out a video or
You're
this
right
person
about
put
that,
out a
because-
video, and I'm getting jack shit.
You're
Yeah, I
not.
didn't
You're
get
not
it
the
either.
only one. I think it's something. Got to do something with. I don't know, but you're not the only one. I hear that a lot, and
I'm
I don't
kind of
know.
wondering if they are limiting you.
They gotta be. They
In
gotta
other
be.
words, like if I'm a new guy and I subscribe to say 5 channels, I'm going to get my stuff. But when you're a whore like me and you subscribe to like 50
Mhm.
and you click all, I should be seeing stuff for drums. I should be seeing stuff for different rock bands. I should be seeing your stuff.
You should be getting annoyed. You should be getting
Everybody,
annoyed
yeah,
with
right,
email.
exactly. I
You
should
know,
be getting annoyed, and I'm not.
I'll tell you something. The interface is always different. If I predominantly view YouTube on my TV, on my smart TV, and I like it that way because I get a sidebar that shows me everything that's current, and then all of my subscriptions below it, and I can just scroll. On a computer, it's not that way. You gotta go
Yeah.
looking for it. So the platform, the depending on what platform it's on, you're seeing it different. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, if I click a link to somebody, like if I click a link to Terry, I'll see him, and then the sidebar is stuff that like I guess they use the computer, whatever the
What
algorithm,
they think you want.
what they think I want, and there'll be a whole bunch of stuff based on what I've already seen, what they think I want, instead of if I'm on your page, Terry, that sidebar should be filled up with all your episodes.
Oh yeah,
And-
yeah.
and it's
You get like
not.
maybe 1 or 2 out of like
Right.
15. You know.
Yeah. If
You
I
know?
go and I log in on my YouTube account, then I see all of the people I've subscribed to. I can click on the link and see history of all the videos I see.
Yeah, because they want you to log in. That's what it is. That's the key.
Yeah.
They want you to log in.
Well, I'm on the computer. I'm logged in, and I click the little ticker that says, stay logged in.
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But like I said, I haven't been getting any kind of information from anybody.
Now I have to give you personal what's called notification. I have to
Yeah,
give
well, that's what I've been doing with a lot of the different shows. I click to get a reminder,
Mm.
and then it shows up on my screen on the computer if I'm online on the desktop or on my phone. Actually, shows up on both. That,
Right.
You've got something coming up at 8 o'clock. You've got something coming up at 9 o'clock.
No. Well, yeah. Well, Lewis, can you bring the color up?
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to your channel and grab it there.
We're
Right?
going over there. Why not?
The Cover Man 66.
Couple of pennies for my view.
So what is Cover Man supposed to stand for?
Okay.
And I'm guessing you born in 1966,
He
right?
used to be in a band
Yeah.
Strip-
Yeah. Thank you,
stripper.
John.
that used to do.
I used to be a DJ back in the day. My name was
DJ,
my
right.
name was Undercover, and I went to the town clerk to get a doing business as because I was making beats for people, and I was like, well, like let me just get a name like Undercover Productions. It was already taken, so they gave me a bunch of names, and I was just like, okay, fine. And like the 8th name down, it said Cover Man. I was like, I like that, And so I registered as Cover Man. And then I went home and tried to get, the 66 was, I was trying to get, what's it called? An email address. And I tried to go Cover Man Productions, Cover Man anything. And
Cover Man
everything was
Productions
taken.
1, Cover Man Productions 2, Cover Man
But
Productions
then they're exactly, like they give you a list. And I was just like, And I was like, well, 66 is the year I was born and 66 is my football number. Let me see. 66. There it is.
Bingo.
There it is. So Government 66 in a nutshell.
I know it can be a little obnoxious when you get asked that question 9 million times, but I'm actually one of those guys who ask people, hey, why did you pick that email address? I'm always curious, like, what's that all about?
Yeah.
That's it. Simple.
And I'm always the guy that's got the email address that's so fucking long.
Oh, yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's that.
I got to learn to start changing emails and use shorter ones. Yo, man, you need a shave.
I do. I've been under the car for so long, man. I've been under the car for like 3 or 4 days, man. That should go.
Let me jump it up for you.
Yeah.
Waterborne base, really?
Yeah.
Woo.
What made you want to go water base?
Well, the guy who's shooting it, he was just like, tell me, let's go water base. And I was like, because that's what they shoot new cars with. And I was just like, I don't care. Whatever, just make the car look good.
Yeah.
And there he is right there, Chris.
What kills me is they don't use water-based clear, and the clear is the one that makes the big smell and the mess and the mist, not the base coat. It's like everyone's pushing water-based for base, and it's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we used what was it? The DC. I forgot what it is. Like one of the best clears on the market.
It's
Deltron?
DT something.
The Deltron DC 2021.
So I am colorblind, but what color is that?
It's like it's a pretty incredible color because what that happens is it almost looks caramel like here, but when you take it outside and that sun hits it, it's like a vibrant orangey
bronze
caramel, whatever. It's just a very pretty color.
There it is.
Like a burnt orange with brown in it, sort of.
Yeah, something similar to that. You see that orange in there?
It looks nice.
Yeah.
I like
And
that.
there's some ghost stripes in there. You can't see it.
Wow.
So what is that specially mixed or did that?
No, it's a BMW color from
BMW.
BMW color. They made it. I think it's a 2007 M series. It's only on the M5s, I think.
Terry, now I got the same feeling now when I look at my own car. It looks so different.
Yeah.
I go out in the garage, like, damn, whose car is that?
Orange County. You're up there by the Chopper Boys.
Yeah, there it is right there. That's now. See, you got some lights in it. Yeah, that's where I live. They're not too far from me. I went to there.
The old man's moving down here now.
He's down in Florida.
Long Island?
No, Florida.
Florida.
Oh,
Clearwater.
okay.
Next week, they're opening up. It's
the new restaurant. And
it's a restaurant, a bar, and a concert kind of place.
Old man, huh?
And it's huge. And he brought a whole boatload of bikes from the show down here. And all of his memorabilia. He's got like this wall of all of these patches that he got from first responders and all of that.
Is he going down too?
Huh?
Is Junior coming now?
No.
No.
No,
That's
you're
the
still
stuff
stuck
that
with
used to
him.
be in the Discovery building down here in the headquarters.
Yeah.
When you walked in with in downtown Silver Spring, it was the Discovery building that when
Right.
they showed their have. And when you walked in, they had all that Orange County Chopper stuff as you walked in. They had like like the first 2 floors of the building of all those shows they had. And once a year they would have a car show all down, and they would have all those guys come down here and they'd line up around on the sidewalk with
Right.
kinds of stuff sitting down there. But when they moved out of Silver Spring, I guess they had to get rid of that stuff. So I guess they gave it all back to everybody.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. So he's got there's a museum section, and he's got that first responder section, and he's got that red fire truck chopper that they built.
Fire bike,
Yeah.
Yeah, for
No.
9/11. He's got the space shuttle bike.
He's
There's
got
a
them
whole
all. That's why I
bunch
can't
of stuff.
understand. Because he
Yeah,
gave
he's-
them away on the show. I mean, I think the Statue of Liberty bike is still on Liberty Island.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
Yeah, but
No.
I went to his restaurant, and it's like the shop, the OCC back in the day, and all those bikes from the show were sitting right there. I was just like,
Well, he's getting out of that building totally.
But
yeah,
a lot of those
Yeah.
were built for certain companies or people, and it's like they mysteriously own. Like, look at the Bitch and Rides. All these cars that they've done, and why they always in the showroom or in the background? It's like, don't the
Oh, yeah.
customers get to have their cars and drive them?
No, they're
Well-
back in to be finished, is what it is.
Well, no, what they do,
that's what I heard. That's what I heard.
that's some of it, but what they do is when they build those cars, they give them rights to show it around the country for so many
For the
months.
next amount of time, yeah.
Yeah,
For years.
yeah.
So I watched the video, and the old man partnered up with a guy here that was like the owner of the Tradewinds Resort, and now they've got this place that they opened up. And on this video, he was talking about how they're going to do other restaurant/bars in different locations, and they're actually going to hire bike builders, and they're going to replicate a lot of these famous bikes to put on display in these other,
Interesting.
restaurants. So the originals are here in Clearwater. The copies, as they open up each store, there'll be copies of them
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
other places. Yeah, so
Now,
it's pretty
that
cool.
fire truck-
I'm actually gonna go check them out this next weekend.
Yeah, that fire truck bike.
That thing's awesome.
When I was hauling cars, I stopped at their shop before they even showed it on TV, and they let me walk in. This is before they got popular. I'm in this shop, walking around, talking to everybody, looking at the bike, and yep.
They did a good job with that. The way the fuel tank looks like the windshield of the truck.
The
Yeah,
best
they-
part of that bike to me is the carburetor. They had, it
Yeah.
looked like a fire hydrant. I forget,
Fire.
Yep.
hydrant.
I'm trying to remember the name of the company who built that carburetor.
I don't know.
But yeah, looks like a fire hydrant.
How about that Air Force bike or something they did?
That was one of my favorites, the Air Force
Yeah.
bike. Yeah.
Mhm.
All of the real cool stuff is like I said, is here. They showed it last night. They were all stacked up next to each other. I'm like, wow, all the cool stuff's here.
John, how far are you from Orlando?
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up in Orlando.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I went to elementary and junior high.
Cool.
Yeah, I went to Oak Ridge,
The Oak Ridge Boys.
yeah, West Ridge Junior High, and Oak Ridge High School for a minute.
Cool. Very good.
You know where Orange Blossom Trail is?
Yes.
You be on that street all the time, don't you?
No,
What's going on down there?
we have a
That's the
customer.
prostitute area.
Oh no, not in the area where I go. I take 417.
Yeah.
417 to past Kissimmee,
hmm
and there's like a college there on the right side.
It's
And then you get off on Orange Blossom. I have a customer that lives there in a gated community, big, like 6,000 square foot house.
yeah.
You ever go to Old Town on Saturday nights?
I've been there once. Yeah, it's pretty
Mhm.
cool.
I hear Saturday nights the place is like
It's
awesome.
nuts. Yeah, they have
Yeah, it's
huge
jumping.
car shows.
Yeah.
They have giant car shows there, and now, Jimmy Buffett opened up a place.
All right.
Yeah, it's a resort. you can actually stay, like they have like a hotel and they got condos, but you can buy a condo and live in Margaritaville.
Wow.
With Jimmy
Oh,
Buffett.
Yeah, you can live in
Wasted away in
Margaritaville,
Margaritaville.
and there's a giant water park. It's cool, and they have huge shows and concerts there also. And Buffett comes there and he plays, so it's
Yeah,
pretty
he's living a
wild.
life. I don't.
Yeah.
Water parks aren't the same. If you ain't been to Action Park, water parks. No.
I
Oh
know.
no,
The funny
Wet
thing
and
is,
Wild.
it's like nowhere near the water, and they literally built a wave ocean kind of pool.
Yeah.
Wet and Wild is the place.
It's
Action
only place
Park?
you know where you can get
Oh,
killed
no.
having fun.
Nothing like Action Park.
Nothing like Action Park. Any place you can go out and try to get killed.
Right.
Yeah. Did you ever see? Did you see the show? I watched it the other night.
Yes.
Class Action Park.
Class
Class
Action
Action
Park. Yeah.
We used to go to Action Park in the summer, and then in the winter go skiing there,
Yeah.
and then go across the street to the Playboy Club.
See, I don't know about that. I don't.
The Playboy Club was right across the street. You go there and you could stay at the Playboy Club, and they got
He doesn't want to admit it.
the steakhouse was awesome. I mean, the place was phenomenal.
I was out of '94, back over to Rockland.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Whatever.
Oh, you know something? You guys, you guys might know. You're a chassis guy, and I know Frank. What's it called?
Who's a chassis
Let's see. I got a question, and Ray, you might know this as well because you're body man.
I'm not
The
a
C
body-
channel openings on a 64 to 67 Chevelle, right?
Yeah.
Was they the same as a C channel opening on a 68 to 72?
No
Which
clue.
I
C
think
channel?
they're pretty
The
close.
frame?
On
The
the frame.
The frames are not closed. They're C's.
Right. Okay. That's what I thought.
I think they're pretty much the same height, if that's what you're talking
So you're
about.
talking
The
about the
width
dimensions?
between the two. Yeah.
I think they're pretty close.
Pretty close.
Nothing to
I mean,
tape
the
measure
shapes are
couldn't tell you.
different, but I think overall, the
I think Scott's right. I think the shape is a little different. I think I'm trying to think. Mine may taper down on top.
Taper
of it.
down.
in like
I think I think the opening may be very close.
Yeah.
the 64 through 7, I think like towards the middle where the transmission cross memory area, I think kind of drops down
Right.
where the 70 or the 68 is more
Straight.
well actually with well,
I think the 68 to 72 are more tapered. I say that because like I was looking at mine this morning on my because that's another thing that I'm doing is y'all remember when I put that frame bracing kit on the 64 Chevelle on my 67? They came with me because I said if you want to see me in the video, if you want to see me put one on a car on a frame that has the body on it, leave a comment.
You
So
did say that, yeah.
yeah, I did say that, and I must have got about 1,000 comments, right? And the owner of the company, HPI, she got wind, and so she was just like, "We're sending you one for your 71," and I'm like,
Nice.
so now I gotta go and put that thing on
Under the car.
under the car on my back.
Oh
And she
boy.
goes, and I have a buddy who says that, "Hey, listen, I got a lift. We could do it up in the lift." I was like, no, because the average person doesn't have a lift in their car in their house.
Mhm.
We got to do it. We got to do it on your back. Got to do it on the back.
Get some nice tall jack stands.
That's what I got. What I do is I got railroad ties. So I cut the railroad ties in half, put them next to each other, put two on top of each other. So you have like a 12-inch height.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
There you go. That's my lift.
That's it.
You know, so, but like I was saying, I got up under the car. Now I know that what's it called? Do years of lifting that car up. You know, not even me so much, but I would imagine the bottom would be more, you know, where you have to go in there with like a crescent wrench and pull it down. But when I look, I see the top part because I don't know why the top part would get damaged. It's coming down on an
The
angle.
reason it comes down is so that the floor pan can be low and come up to the rocker.
Right, exactly.
It's all
So,
about the floor
Yeah,
pan.
that's normal. Yeah.
So I'm thinking the bottom is the culprit. So because I remember what's it called, the piece that you put in to box it, that was like 3 inches. That was like 3 inches on the 67.
Yeah, I was thinking
Right.
like 2.5.
So I had to make
3/4.
a clearance for that.
Yeah.
So I just got to wait for this thing to come in because I'm like, Jesus Christ, what do? I got to pull that crescent wrench down.
Either
till
that
it's-
or take that flat stock and turn it.
I could
Maybe.
do that.
Maybe
But
it's made to go long ways instead of up and down.
I got to look and see what it is. Yeah, I got to look and
Got to
see.
see what it is.
I gotta see what it is. But I do know my bottom, the bottom, just from years of like, jacking it up and all that. Like you got to pull it, you got to straighten it out a little.
Sure.
So that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun.
I've been there.
Keep my mouth shut next time.
Yeah. When you said that, I was like, oh, he's in trouble.
Oh, I opened up a can of worms. But
Ray,
you know
you
what
still
it is?
playing
I'm
with
doing the whole
your
exhaust
springs on
system and everything
on your
because
car?
the whole, the exhaust system, my buddy back, 8 years ago, and I still got that cross member on there that I built because like when I built this car, this was like back in 2010, and there were no companies out that had cross member that you just, hey, listen, I got a LS engine with a 6-speed transmission, a T56. I need a cross member for that. So what I had to do is I took the original cross member, cut the perch, flipped it upside down, did my whole degree and everything, tacked it in, pulled it out, welded it up, put it back in.
Yeah.
And it's still there to this day. But I'm thinking, Hooker just sent me one of their new Blackheart cross members. Hooker makes like a whole cross member for LS conversions and stuff like that, and they want me to try it out. Fortunately, this company, HPI, in that kit, it comes with its own cross member that attaches to the braces. So the cross member kind of ties the car in. So I was thinking, damn, I can't use the Hooker, but then I also have that Le Mans that I got, the 69 Le Mans.
Terry, since you have all that extra pieces for that LS,
Oh, God.
Sitting on the screen here underneath that's looking for an LS for a Pontiac. So
there you go.
That stuff over, and he'll be more than glad to use it because he wanted it.
It won't fit that
Because he
car.
did mention, I'll never, ever, ever have one in my car. That means he really wants it.
I will give you one for free. Put that
The only way I would ever put an LS in one of my cars.
If the wife said so.
If it's one, it came with one from the factory. And it went there.
No, if I was going to do a twin turbo,
then you have to get the 5.3.
I would.
Why
do
not
that.
a 6-liter?
5.3. It for some reason that engine.
Built for it.
But I'm the kind of guy that's obsessive compulsive, so I got to buy mirror image turbos. I'm not like these other guys that buy 2 turbos, and you wind up with one charge pipe is like perfect, and the other charge pipe is like pretzeled in order to get where it's got to go.
Oh, you want everything looking even.
I want mirror image turbos so that they
man.
both come up in the middle and then just go straight back.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care if one's like in the front of the car and the other one's in the trunk.
I just don't understand why a lot of these guys do that, and why the turbo companies just don't offer left right.
Yeah.
To me, it's just like so simple. It's 2 part numbers, and it's just the cover. Everything else is identical. You're just talking about the cover.
Well, it depends because, you got the alternator on one side, you got the steering pump on another.
Exactly.
So
but if you've got the choice of left right, it makes it easy for whatever you're doing. It's like, okay, here's my motor. I can't move the alternator, so I need a turbo. I'm trying to plan out how I want to do this. I want the out pipe to be coming up like in front of the water pump, or no, I want the charge pipe to be coming closer to the passenger fender so I can bring it around.
But you see these guys you see these guys, they just don't care. They just put holes in the hood and they just sticking out, and they just like,
Right.
they don't care. They got that's one of the reasons why I don't like that I'm not fond of a turbo. I mean, I love the power of it, but the whole routing of it and all that, and then you don't have a tailpipe. I mean, you could run it through the tail, but I like to look at the back of the car and see tailpipes instead of looking at the side of the fender with this big.
All the crap I build, you got no room for tailpipes.
Yeah.
John, have you ever ran an alternator off of a drive shaft?
No.
Oh, wow.
Wow, it's funny that
I've seen it.
It's funny you just said that, Brian, because I was thinking about putting an alternator on my bus on the drive shaft to charge my extra batteries.
Yeah.
That's a smart idea.
That really is.
Yeah.
I found some plates because I know that they also would run on the Shelbys. They ran the race Shelbys. They ran a pulley. Let's just like NASCAR. You know, they ran the pulleys off of to pump the rear end the oil for the rear ends.
Mhm.
And I was watching something, and a guy had mounted a alternator on a drive shaft running. It's great
Yeah.
when the car's running. You have charging system, but when
Sure.
you ain't charging. But I
Yeah,
just
when you stop
never
driving,
did that.
yeah.
Yeah, well, for the amount of time that you're stopped and the engine's running, it's not, shouldn't be an
Well,
issue. But
well,
again,
was thinking-
I don't have room for anything like that in the cars I build because, like this car here, I consider this one a fat ass. The rails are 24 inches apart, along with the 4-link bars. So there's only about 6 inches of space between the center section and the 4-link bracket is the thickness of your hand. There's no physical room to put an alternator back there if you wanted, let alone try to bring exhaust pipes through there when you got a wishbone locator and all the other happy horse crap and the coilover shocks are behind the rear end. There's no space, So in my world, it's no exhaust or it's do what you got to do and kind of bring it out the rocker panel in front of the rear tire. Turbos, you can dump it right out of the fender and it's quiet.
Yeah.
You don't even hear it. I'm not a big fan of cutting a 5-inch hole in the fender.
That's what I'm saying.
Do that. It's kind of stupid, But
you do it old school and get those side pipes.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Remember those hooker side pipes? Those things were
Yeah, those are
badass. Yeah, and they actually look good on
Corvettes.
70s, 80s type muscle cars.
Yeah. they do.
60s, 70s, muscle cars. They actually look really good.
I keep on forgetting what are those pipes called? The 4 where they stick out the side, look like spare
Zoomies.
Zoomies. That's it. Those.
Looks
You know-
like a spare rib.
That's why I used to call them. I used to call them the spare rib pipe.
Dude, there's no meat on those bones.
Oh my goodness! I'm telling you, I'm trying to find myself.
funny.
I'm trying to find myself like one of those little short Chevy vans. What do they call the G20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to get my hands on one of those, man.
I
would do it nuts. I would have like the wizard and the warlock up on.
The 75.
I got a friend in Texas that's building a Mustang, tube chassis Mustang, and he built Zoomies, had a guy build Zoomies for him, but instead of having 4 pipes on each side, he's got 5.
Oh, wow.
So it looks like a V10, but there's a valve, and what the valve does is it diverts.
Mhm.
So all the exhaust goes out one pipe that has an internal muffler on each side, and then when he hits a
When it gets
switch,
loose.
the electric valves opens, and it actually opens up the 4 Zoomies on each side. So he literally has real Zoomies, or the 5th pipe is a mufflered pipe. So when you look at it, and it comes out right behind the front wheel, just like a funny car, and you
Wow.
look at it and you go, oh, this guy's got a V10 in here. People think it's a V10, but it's not.
That's actually kind of
weird.
slick.
Yeah,
is true.
he's got like a John Kazi big block Ford.
I had a good friend
Crazy.
who worked at he owned a Meineke in Brooklyn, and on his Mustang he wanted to do something different, so he rigged up a rear manifold with 8 tailpipes. And that was kind of his thing. His plate said Meineke with a 1 for the
Yeah.
eye that somebody else had, and they had. He says, look, I'm an exhaust guy. I got to have something crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the way the Corvettes are with the 4 pipes coming out the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 of them shut off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My,
right.
my ZL1 has that option where, like,
Yeah.
what's it called? Once it gets about 3,000 RPMs,
Open.
open, yeah.
Freeze it
Yeah,
up.
that was we had that on the 911s, or you can get them on the box, but they had the sport exhaust, and the inside the pipe had a vacuum valve in it, and it would open up and it'd be straight exhaust or going through the muffler.
That's
They
cool.
were always fun to put on.
So Brian, speaking about the 911, how'd the job come out?
Oh, on the 944? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, all back together and running. Yeah, it was great.
Good.
It wasn't too bad. It just it took a little bit the tensioner for the timing belt. It had been sitting so long that it was sticking. So every time I turned the motor over by hand, you could hear the thing kind of pop or move. And I was a little worried when I first started up because the guy that did the head work, you could hear the keepers smacking around in there like they'd pop.
Oh.
You could hear the spring. And I was like, man, I hope this noise goes away because I don't feel like tearing this thing back apart.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if it was lack of lubrication or just had to work itself in or whatever. But it did good. I see the guy tomorrow, and hopefully it needed a shit ton of work. Because, I mean, the car had been sitting forever, and, you know, it had terrible gas. You know, I told him you need to clean the tank out and change the fuel filter and
Doorbell was there.
all
That
the
was my alarm cutting off.
all the I mean, like the brake stuff was completely, you know, rusted over and torn up, and motor mounts were flat because they're oil filled, so the motor shook. I mean, it was a lot of vibration.
Oil-filled motor mounts?
Yeah.
Hydraulic
Yeah.
mount.
Yeah.
They're popular now. A lot of new cars use those. Yeah.
Get out of here, really?
Yeah, my Thunderbird Super Coupe had it, and my Lincoln Mark 8 got them.
Yeah.
Oil
That's
and
amazing.
New cars. So, Brian, how many hours did you have into that job?
Let's see here, about 6.5 hours.
Oh, that's it? I thought it was going
Yeah.
to be more.
Ain't bad. Hey guys, I'm
That
gonna
was-
jump off.
Okay, Lewis.
Hi, Lois.
I'll see you next week. I might have a guest for us next week. I'll let you know.
All right.
Cool.
Let us know. Yeah, can't wait.
All right.
I'll be in the
Fast and
hotel
Furious.
room if I
Take
can
care, Lewis.
get it.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to get out of here too. Same reason.
All right.
So maybe I'll see you next weekend. You're not sure yet? Well, he's gone. He said he might go to Carlisle.
Oh,
Cool.
Good night, guys.
all right. Yeah, take it easy, Jim.
All right, see you.
Good.
Yeah, I'm falling asleep over here. So good night, guys.
Oh, yeah,
All right,
yeah.
Scott. Take it easy.
Late
Yeah, I
Thank
got.
you.
You said not this weekend, but next weekend, right?
Right. A week from
Yeah.
tomorrow. Well, I'm leaving. It's Friday and Saturday is the show. The
Yeah.
25th and 6th or 24th and 5th, whatever Friday and Saturday is.
Yeah, I'll have to see. I don't know. Like I said, if anything, it'll be a Saturday if I go. I got to work. I can't. I can't let the guys run around too much. I got to make sure I collect that money every Friday.
All right. Take care, guys.
Yep.
See
Come
ya.
on, Scott.
Be good.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I had about, like I said, about 6.5 hours, I guess, maybe 7. It wasn't that bad.
Okay.
It paid 18 hours. I mean, that's what it, deal
Nice.
18, 17 and a half hours.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not
And you
bad.
figure it's been 20 years since I really did all that work. So
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't lost too much.
Did it feel like old home week again or what?
Huh?
Did it feel like old home week?
Oh yeah, it was great. I mean, I tell you, I miss working on them. I mean, I really honestly miss working on them.
Yeah.
The politics of it is just is just the bullshit part.
Yeah.
So
Well, maybe that's the
if I
next
was
toy.
allowed
you
to
should
do what
buy.
I wanted to do, I'd be happy.
Maybe that's the next toy you should put in the garage.
But no, I need to get the. I want to get the Mustang running. That's my main. That should be my main priority.
I don't
That's
blame
it.
you.
A buddy of mine called me when I was working on it, and he's like, "Brian, I don't understand. Here you are working on somebody else's car, doing somebody else's stuff, when you have your own stuff sitting at your house and you haven't touched."
That's
So-
always the way it is.
We all do
Yeah.
that. We all do
Mechanics,
that.
mechanics got the worst cars.
Yeah, well, no shit.
I'll tell you something though. I had a realization last week. I've been driving my car the last few days, taking it out, blasting around, trying to figure out this timing thing. And I came home the other day and I told my wife, I said, she goes, "Hey, you have a good ride?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was cruising around. I said, "I'll tell you something." I said, "I actually thought if someone lent me this car and I was driving their car, I would want to buy it. If it wasn't mine, I would want to own this car." And she goes, "Wow, I guess that means you built it right. I guess it means something because I like it." I said, "Yeah, I would buy this car." So and that's a great feeling because
No, that's awesome.
it is mine, and it's a car I've had for a long time, like all of us. We've got stuff for a long time, and you can't replace that feeling
Yeah.
with something that's, well, I mean, something that's new to you can fall into that category. You know, a lot of cars are great, but it's just a little more special when you've had it a long time, and that's your Mustang right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
My friend Kenny, he says it like this. He says, if your car stops turning you on, sell it.
I think they told him that in marriage counseling, except
Yeah.
it wasn't his car they were talking about.
They're like, if you don't get a high when you step in your car, you gotta get rid of it. It's not.
Yeah.
Very
That's
true.
right. I can't wait to get this thing done because I know it's just going to be a flood of memories from the old days.
Yeah, same thing.
Now, is that your wife's car, John?
Yeah, pretty much. I guess.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm doing all of the details and building it my way, but yeah, she'll be able to get in it and drive it.
John,
What
don't.
size wheels are you gonna have
don't-
in the back? I'm just curious.
I think it's great that she wants to be able to drive it.
No, listen, that's.
I mean, I
beautiful thing.
was set to go back to a manual transmission, which is what the original car had. Came up from the factory with a manual. I was ready to go back to a manual. As a matter of fact, when I first thought about it, I was going to go back to a Ford top loader, which was what was in here. And then Evan Smith was like, "What are you, an asshole?" He goes, "Why do you want to do that?" He goes, get an overdrive manual transmission. At least make the thing more drivable. But Barb was like, no, I got to have an automatic. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? Because in another year, the black one will be ready to roll.
Right.
And then I'll be running a Lenko transmission in that one, which is like the ultimate e-ticket on the street, is to be able to pull levers.
Yeah.
I'm like, why not have both? And then, she says, well, we can go to Cars and Coffee together. She goes, we'll bring both cars. And I'm like, all right, I'm into it.
Yeah.
Now I find
That's
myself
weird.
looking at toter homes and stacker trailers.
Ah.
Because if I want to go to like the Street Machine Nationals up in Illinois, I got to bring both.
You got to bring both.
Yeah.
Well, quick story. I belong to a lot of these different pages on Facebook, and one of them is Street Machines, 60s, 70s Street Machines.
Yeah.
I'm on that too.
Yeah, I follow that one.
And a guy posted a pic of my car, the 70. It's a shot that I have with my friend's girlfriend, Missy, kind of leaning on the car. And he posted that picture he's the guy that started the page. And he grabbed it from somewhere and he posted it. And as of now, it's got like 11,000 likes.
Yeah.
And there's like 100 comments. And people are like, I know that car. And then there's a bunch of New York guys like, dude, that car was the ultimate car on Long Island for like 15 years and la-di-da, this and that, and the whole deal. And it just like went like wildfire. And I said to Barb, I'm like, look at this. Like day 2, there was like 1,700 likes on the second day.
Wow.
And she's like, that many people like that? I go, there's people all around the world are looking at that car going, oh man, that's a really good example of a Pro Street Firebird.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like ultra motivated to make the car look the way it did, bring it back, and some of the guys were making comments. They're like, wow, that car is awesome. Whatever happened to it. And a couple of guys jumped in and said, well, it's being recreated right now in Florida by the original owner. He's building another one identical to the first one. Everybody's like, oh man, I can't wait to see that. So I got a bunch of people following the page off of that post.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't stop. Every day there's more and more. I keep getting these notifications that people are making comments about.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna be like, yeah, he's putting the LS 5.3 with a 6-speed. He's
Twin
screwing it up.
Twin turbo clock just right.
Gotta have it clocked. I know. Sweeten it up. Check it out. I got some cool parts today.
Uh-oh.
Flush mount charging posts for the batteries.
Playing with that.
Nice.
Yeah. So you use a hole saw. You make 2 holes in a quarter panel, and then you either weld or panel bond this piece in there.
Right.
And then these things, they lock in, and you can you index them so they can't spin, and they're flush. And then you charge the battery from outside the car, like typical race car stuff.
Right.
This one here had the Moroso on-off switch, and Moroso has these really, really big lugs. They're like 3/4 inch diameter, and they had these big rubber caps that slid over them, and that was right there on that fiberglass panel.
Yeah.
And I took a couple of looked at some of the pictures of the car, and I'm like, that's like the kind of stuff that shouldn't have ever been there.
Right.
It's like, well, it was cool then, but it's like totally not cool now. It's like you get these guys with the TV shows that build these custom cars, and what do they want to do? They want to shave off all of the warts on the car.
Right.
Smooth it all out, So years later, we stopped using those on-off switches on the body and mounted the switch off the frame and used an aluminum rod with a little T-handle or a little like a ball, like a marble or something, push-pull, which is slick, looks good, no problems, And then battery charging wound up going down to the bottom of the quarter panel underneath the side markers, and it was always flush. So it was, it was just clean and smooth, but it was like, oh, check it out. That's where you can charge the batteries from, So I got that today. And then, Ray, I was talking to you about this. This is that billet piece,
right,
for the wishbone mount.
Oh yeah, for the rear end, right.
So this thing here this is hogged out of one piece of billet steel.
Nice.
Keep moving the wrong way.
Yeah.
So your Heim joint goes in here,
right,
and this is opened up to fit an 1 5/8" tubing.
Right.
So now instead of using 2 tabs and a Heim joint between them, and you're welding across the top and across the bottom, and maybe you're putting like a side gusset to kind of strengthen it. This is all done in one piece, and it's 360-degree welded.
Very nice.
And this stuff is not moving at all. It's way thicker than a typical tab would ever be.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's made so that the Heim joint just fits in there. And it comes with these aircraft, bolts with the shoulder.
Right.
And they're set up specifically that the shoulders
are those grooved, or are they just a shoulder? I mean,
no, it's a shouldered aircraft bolt, high tensile strength.
Who makes that, John?
They come from it's an NAS bolt. They come from all of these companies that just make aircraft style hardware.
I'm talking about the actual piece, the billet.
Oh, this was from Jerry Bickle.
Okay, Bickle. Yeah, good.
My buddy up in Missouri, Jerry Bickle Race Cars.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is really super nice, and you got these aircraft bolts, which are tensile strength is way higher than a grade 8 bolt, and the fact that the shoulder actually protrudes out the other end, and you have to put 1 or 2 of these aircraft washers, so that you don't bottom out the lock nut before this thing is tight.
Right.
And this thing won't even slide through the holes that are in this.
Oh wow!
The clearance is that the threaded part just makes it.
Wow.
When you go to put this together, you got to actually tap it with a hammer. It's like 0 tolerance.
Yeah, clear as fit.
Yeah, there's no wobble. There's nothing.
Right.
So
that's why I asked if it was threaded, because it'd be like a stud. There would be no wobble, no play.
Right.
Fixed.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking about wobbling, I got to wobble my butt into the shower and into my bed.
All righty.
All
All right,
right.
Terry.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen.
That razor cabinet too, and find yourself a Bic.
Yeah, I got to take care of that tonight.
You look good. You just got a little bit more, and you'll be like me. Don't worry, man. You look.
This is it. This is like a week.
A week.
This is a week, man. My follicles do not grow. Nah, this is it. I have peaked.
Oh man,
it's like it just like last year it just started connecting.
Okay.
It just started connecting.
That was it.
Damn.
That was it. Yeah, it doesn't get much worse than this.
And that's you at 55.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you. All the black guys I know, I don't know what it is. It's in your genes. You dudes age really well.
Yeah.
You want to know the secret?
Yeah.
Hominy grits.
I love grits. I eat grits all the time. I got South Carolina grits right here in my freezer downstairs. I love grits.
It's the hominy grits. Gotta have it with butter.
Oh yeah,
More butter.
Tons of butter.
That's the secret.
Salt and pepper. Oh, I love my grits.
And you know, I'll tell you something, John. Africa and Italy isn't too far from each other.
No,
Oh
they're
no,
not.
no,
Yeah.
I know.
It's
There's a lot of Sicilians got a lot of black blood in them.
I'm just saying, it's a wave
very
runner.
true.
You can get a wave runner and a cold
Wave
takes the
runner.
gas and get there. Right across the Mediterranean. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
There's a lot of that mixing going on in Italy.
You know. But
Yeah.
as always, be easy, fellas.
All right,
Got
Terry.
it.
Good seeing
See
you,
ya.
Harry. Take care.
Always a pleasure. Take care, gentlemen.
All right.
Alrighty.
Be safe.
Oh.
Yes.
Man, we've been getting so much rain, and
Really?
it bring insane rain for the last week.
Wow.
I'm talking torrential downpours.
We have been beautiful.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
and it brings out like all of these like moths
Oh yeah.
because it's so humid, and they want you open up the garage door, they come flying in, and then they're like running all around. I keep swatting them off my face all night.
You know, I had a buddy here. My friend Paul was here last night. We were sitting out on the deck talking. We were out till about 11 o'clock just talking. That's why I missed Lou's show last night. I never got to see it. And so when he left, I had been working on the car before that. So I had to go put everything away, do a ton of shit. And I'll go in the garage, and now it's late. And there was this moth and they just like fly in these crazy freaking circles.
Right? Yeah.
And I'm looking at this thing saying, what the fuck are you doing? What are you like on speed? You sucking my carburetor cleaner? What are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
fly straight. It was just going in these circles.
What is your purpose in life?
To be dizzy, I guess.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it was last night was the first night they opened up the phone line.
Okay,
I got on there.
cool.
I told the dude that answered the phone, I said, I'm friends with Lou. I said, because they put the name up,
Right.
where you're from. I said, put Chassis John. He's like, how you spell that? I'm like, come on. Chassis
Oh
like
my
a
God.
car? You're a car guy? No, I'm a video guy. There's
Yeah.
some dude that runs that deal.
Right,
So I
right.
spelled it out for him. And when he put it up, all of a sudden I saw Lou go. And then they announced, he goes, I know this guy. And then Lou went into the story of when he was here last year for
Right.
the Fun and Sun Air Show.
Right, right,
And he was coming here and he blew the brake line.
right.
So he had a limp to the hotel. He got that fixed in the parking lot. But then his pinion seal was bad.
Right,
And then we fixed that in the driveway. And,
Yeah.
and Rollins was looking at him like, oh my God.
You actually get into the car and use a tool?
It's funny.
I know.
I don't know. It was a good night though. So that's about it. I'm off tomorrow. Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. And then heading out to Cocoa Beach on the weekend.
Ah,
Going to the condo.
okay. For the weekend?
Yeah. Should be pretty
All
good.
right. Okay.
Yeah, my mom and the girls and my wife, they're headed your way, John. They'll be down in Disney.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was going through Disney the last 2 days to it's like shortcut to get to customers' houses. Traffic is unbearable outside of Disney and SeaWorld and all of that.
Yeah.
But once you get inside Disney, no traffic.
Yeah, my mom is going down to see her mom, my grandmother.
Wow.
Her, it's over Fort Myers.
Fort Myers, that's on my side, all the way down the
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the town she lives. It was Lake something, Lake Susie, Lucy, or Lake.
I don't know. Yeah, Fort
It's-
Myers is
Sarasota, Fort Myers area, all right in that area.
well. Sarasota's a little bit down, right
Yeah.
below Bradenton, below the drag strip.
yeah.
And then Fort Myers is another good 45 minutes south.
Yeah, so they're up over that. So, like I said, they're meeting. My wife Jenny's driving taking my mom down to Florida, so she can go down there and spend time with her sister, my aunt, and her mom. So
Yeah.
Great.
Then if they're heading to Disney, that's like over a 3-hour ride from Fort Myers.
yeah, so
That's all the way on. That's all the way on the other side. And
yeah,
north.
we have there's Jenny and the girls are staying in Disney. They have a resort place down there, or we have a timeshare thing or whatever.
Yeah,
They're staying there for 2 weeks.
that's cool.
So the big man is batching it. Wow.
Yeah, I got a lot of shit to do. I'm hoping, I tell you.
Where are you going to order your food from?
Huh? I don't order food, man. Come on, a big guy like me, I cook every night, man.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
It's
have.
different though when you're cooking alone, like just for yourself. You know, like she brought some pastrami yesterday. She was on this pastrami kick.
Really?
Have you had boar's head turkey pastrami?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
It's good. Get it. It's good.
I got a store right by me called Pastrami King, which is the sandwiches are like this, and Lido Deli, which is, my God, in Lido Beach, the pastrami is off the chart. So she got some pastrami and she had hers, and I came home today. I said, you know what? I have some pastrami, and just opened up the package. You could smell the pepper. Like, oh my God, this is great. So I'm like, I'm stuffing that. Threw it in a frying pan, just cooked it up, threw some sauerkraut in there with it. I just mustard it, and I just ate it with a knife and fork. I'm like, I don't even need the rye bread. Save the bread for later.
Save the bread for later.
Barb does that. She throws it in the frying pan, she cooks it up, and then she layers it with like this really nice Swiss cheese. Melts it all in, and then she gets out the rye bread, and then she puts the boar's head spicy mustard.
Yes.
And then she'll make me a sandwich like this big.
I know. You know what else is good? Like it's Batampti mustard. It's a Jewish deli mustard.
Yes.
Another really good mustard.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had that before. That's really
good.
I
do with provolone. I do it with provolone.
Yeah, we do it with provolone too.
All right. Now
provolone, and even then I'll throw in the provolone, but maybe a slice of mozzarella. Just throw that a little bit more.
Mixing it up.
Yeah. Nice. So
I've had it with all three of those. Like that. That's good stuff.
Yeah. It's terrible.
For some reason, I always want to have like a Flyers root beer or something with it. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going for the weekend to the beach. Barb will be staying there until the following Saturday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll be coming home because I got work I got to do. No problem with that. But I'll be spending the nights working on this thing now.
So how do you deal with cars? You go down together. What do you do? Leave it? Just
leave
it
no. I follow in with the truck.
Oh, you both drive down. Okay.
Yeah. I follow with the truck because I've been caught a couple of times where before I had a couple of people that could fill in holes for me, where I would get that phone call. Yeah. Like, I got a tank that's emptying itself all over my restaurant floor. You need to come now.
Wow.
And it was like, oh, cripe. And I had to go take the car and go back, then load the truck, then do what I got to do, and then take the truck back to the beach.
Tank could be empty by then.
Yeah. So now I take the truck because I know I have to leave because I got to work.
Right.
If there's an emergency and it's somebody that's on the East Coast that we take care of, boom, I can go right there. It's not an issue. Yeah. If it's something Central or West Coast, then I forward the phone call to one of the guys and I'm like, get in the truck and go.
And you have no problem with parking the two vehicles down there?
No, you're allowed to park two.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
They have a big covered, parking area, which is nice. Right. Keeps the car out of the sun.
Right.
Did the wife get a new Mercedes?
They called her yesterday.
Oh.
Because they said they were getting something, and then the guy gave her the bullshit deal of, well, because of the quantities and the COVID and the whole nine. He goes, everything costs more.
Yeah.
He goes, so your lease isn't going to be the same. So she says, well, you better tell the manager or the owner to sharpen his pencil. She says, or I'll just come give you the car back.
Yeah.
Oh no, we don't want that. We don't want that.
You gotta go to Toyota.
Yeah, he says we'll figure something out. We'll figure something out. They
Right.
called her yesterday, so they got one coming in about a week and a half, fully loaded. It's got the panoramic glass roof, all of the stuff, heat and AC, seats, all the bells and whistles. Now they finally put a touch screen in the Benz.
Right.
I don't know why Mercedes is always like behind when it comes to technology.
Yeah.
And they told her no money down, and it's going to be the exact same price you're paying now.
Good. Perfect.
Yeah. So she's like, good, no problem. It's exactly what she wants. It's black, got the buckskin camel interior,
Nice.
and it's got, like I said, all the stuff that all the options, everything's checked off,
Right.
And they're dragging it in from out of state.
Oh wow.
And they're going to give it to her. Just come get the keys, sign the paper, have a nice day.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so she's excited.
Papa Squirrel has asked what time your show is, Ray, for on Sunday at noon.
12 noon to 1 p.m. And this week we got the Flathead expert on. We got Flathead and Stromberg Day on Sunday.
Yeah, can't wait.
Oh, I was going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Something you need to try. Do you use an iPhone or the other kind?
Oh, I'm an Android guy.
Okay. For a couple of months now, I cannot listen to your show through your website on my iPhone.
Oh, wow.
It's like it doesn't. Your site loads, not a problem, but
That's
if
odd.
you, I don't know what
I
it
had
is
the same.
because-
I had the same problem.
I will put that one out to my web guy
Yeah.
because he handled all of that stuff.
Remember when I sent you all the pictures, Ray, on that?
Yes.
Same
here,
problem.
I got your icon.
Right.
Takes me right to your page.
Right.
There you go. Boom.
Yep.
Right.
That's a
And then I go up here and you go listen live.
listen live. Yeah.
You hit the link
And it goes.
and that opens up another page, goes to the college,
Right.
right? And then you
Oh, wow.
scroll. You scroll
I'm surprised
here.
it goes there. Yeah. He redirected that a while ago. So it
Okay,
wouldn't
well-
do that.
When you hit the play arrow,
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything.
it don't do nothing.
All right. Interesting. I'll
Oh,
relay
now
that.
it's playing. Now it is playing.
Yeah, no, I had the same issue you do, John. It either takes me 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
You sent me that other link, Ray, with the tune in,
Yes.
and that's the tune in. It is a little better, but when you go to your school, when it goes to the school link,
Yeah.
sometimes it will not play. You click.
Another one of my buddies just texted me and said he uses his iPhone and he always hooks up, but he's here in New York. That shouldn't really matter. There
I
you
tried to get you on the phone Sunday. Couldn't do it.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
I was, because I still haven't fixed this laptop.
Right.
And it
right.
was one of those things where I didn't come out here like an hour ahead and turn this thing on so it could load.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I tried to listen to it on the phone and I kept hitting it and it would not play.
That's
So
frustrating.
I wound up losing like half the show before this thing finally booted up. My friend was supposed to come fix this and he never did.
Yeah, right. Oh, speaking
would've-
just to go back a little bit, when you were talking about the undercoating, let's see, Bill's telling me you can also go to WHPC and click on you can go to the college website, to the radio station website and click on the iHeart link as well. That he said that works
yeah,
too.
okay.
But yeah, I had I put these new tires on the back of the car, and they're a little bit more bulged in the sidewall than the M&H's were.
Right, yeah, you sent me that picture where you did some grinding.
So I saw the line, right, and that's what I had to do. I'm up under the wheel well grinding, but it had been undercoated with whatever he used. He might have used the Rhino stuff.
Right.
And that's that Metabo grinder, Brian. I sent you a picture of that I want to have fixed. So
Yeah.
of course I pull it back, I shut it off, and I look, and the wheel is just filled with black.
Yeah.
So I actually had to take my wheel dressing tool for the bench grinder and dress the wheel on the grinder to get it back to clean again so I could pack it with that black shit again.
Whenever I have to go through that stuff, like I had a couple of things that near the end of the Camaro job that I had to wind up going back in, and I had to cut through and put some tabs in.
Right.
And I found the best thing to use is those sanding discs that are flappers.
Oh, the flap disc. Yeah.
Yeah. You burn right because they're cheap.
Right.
And if you load that thing up, you just put it up against something hard.
Right.
And it just cuts through to the next layer and you're good to go.
Right.
Or you just toss it in the garbage.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I didn't have to clearance much. And it's, so far so good. So
that's cool.
That's because the rear end, those rear ends are offset a little bit to the left. Yes. And that's the right side clears and the left side doesn't. So that's the difference.
Yeah.
But freaking undercoating.
Which I guess the whole reason for that is weight distribution or something.
I don't know.
I really don't know why they do that.
I don't know either. And Chrysler was even worse. Chrysler was even more offset.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
So stupid.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, I'm thinking about calling Pertronics and maybe throw this timing issue their way. Because the last thing I did tonight before I put the car away is I started, idled it, and I verified that the vacuum advance, it's on a ported lug of the carburetor. But literally, as soon as I give that thing gas, it advances. And I had to come in fast because I wanted it to come in fast. But at idle, there was no vacuum advance. So it's not that's doing it.
That's so odd that it wants all that timing.
It loves the time, man. It loves it, and it doesn't ping.
That tells me that the camshaft timing is off.
I pulled the cam card, and it says here, it says caution. It's an Edelbrock cam and kit. Use Edelbrock Performer Link timing chain and gear set. Blah blah blah. Do not use late model timing gear set. They're designed for mission controlled engines. These timing sets are machined in a retarded position and are not recommended for this camshaft installation. I know I got a double row chain in there. I think it's a Cloys.
I like those.
Edelbrock timing sets feature the keyways for specified timing selection and zero position for most applications. And, the other thing is if you had a really wild cam, that's exactly what happens. The same thing. They want a lot of timing on the low end. But this thing isn't. It's a Performer. They measure the duration, 278 on the intake, and 288 exhaust. Yeah,
you think you get a little bit of chain play, or
no? It's all new. Everything is new. Everything is brand
new. How new is new? Is this new like 5 years ago new, or?
Oh well, now it's like 3,800 miles ago, which is about 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah,
that's not enough to stretch it though.
No, not a double roller chain.
No.
Yeah.
Well, unless
I just think there's something to do with the cam timing. I think it's
the other thing is when I put the light on the engine, the marks are dead solid. Usually with a stretched chain, you get it's dead on the money. And like I said, it loves that initial timing, and it doesn't. I kept increasing it. I figured I'll keep adding until it barks back at me. I couldn't get the damn thing to ping.
Does that have like a button or a pin that does for the chain to sit on, like if a roll pin broke or got bent?
Usually they got a roll pin and 3 bolts.
3 bolts. It's 3 bolts in the front of the cam. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. 3 bolts.
That's weird.
That'd be something if you open it up and those bolts are loose.
Imagine. Yeah.
Oh, you would notice that.
I think I would have heard that by now.
Yeah. You would have heard that, and you would see variations in timing.
And it's dead nuts even.
Yeah. No, that would change things because it would be moving. It would be changing the distributor speed.
So I put the timing where the engine likes it, and then it doesn't want to idle low. If I put it where the engine's recommended, it runs like shit and runs rich as hell. So because it's retarded.
That's why you got to do race motors like we do.
I know.
You run like 38 or 40 degrees total advance from 0 up, and you just electronically retard at 12 degrees at the start.
Right.
And that's it. And it's locked There's nothing.
I
There's
had
no
40
advance.
degrees.
There's no nothing.
I had like 40 degrees total in this thing at one point, and it loved it. It ran great.
Yeah.
And when I retard it, the car runs hotter. You know, just like the textbooks, just like the book says. It's exactly what it'll do. You know? So and the plugs are burning good. So there's no other problems that I can see. So I'm looking for something that maybe is just wrong from the get-go. So I'm thinking maybe now I'm gonna, like I said, maybe I'll call Petronics and talk to them, see if they have any leads.
Tell them what's going on.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. What the hell? I would still buy the car if it wasn't mine. I still like it.
Sure.
All right.
So I've been practicing my TIG welding.
You know, the welding on that rear end, that was really nice. That work was real sweet.
Yeah, and that was just sit down and weld.
Yeah, real nice.
You know, it was one of those deals where I'm like, okay, I got to get this done. So now that I knew by that guy saying to me, I think you got the wrong size tungsten in here for the thickness that you're running.
Yeah.
We're overheating the tungsten.
Right.
You know? So, and then I thought about it and I'm like, oh yeah, you know, and I did a little bit of research and I'm like, 1/16 2% red, you should not be trying to push 150 amps through it. Not at all.
Yeah, it's amazing the things that you take for granted and just
the
the
things that you forget.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that you forget in 20 years.
Right.
You know? So I'm like, okay. I mean, I knew where all the knobs have to go.
Yeah.
That's like ingrained in my head. It's like, okay, here's what I'm welding. Here's where I need to be.
Right.
Boom. And I'm the guy that always dials in like an extra 20 amps or 30 amps, and I use the pedal to regulate.
Right.
So that wasn't an issue. But when I sat down and tried to weld, I'm like, what is going on here? This thing's and then when I explained to the guy that had come here, I'm like, the tungsten is like spitting, you know, like a kid's sparkler on a 4th of July.
Right.
He goes, yeah, he says, you're putting too much juice through the tungsten. He goes, get a 3/32 tungsten and put it in there. He goes, and I guarantee you this welder will work. I changed the collet. I got a piece of 3/32. I used my new tungsten sharpener.
Oh wow, cool. Look at that.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's got for all 3 sizes, you put it in and you break it.
Right.
And then the next ramp over is at an angle.
Uh-huh.
And you just turn this thing on. It's electric. And it's variable speed.
Wow.
And you just twirl it.
Yeah.
And it puts a perfect taper on your tungsten.
Okay.
Slid it in, hit the pedal, arc started instantly, and he just started laying nickels.
Yeah.
He goes, nothing wrong with this welder. He goes, dude, this welder's awesome. It's constant current. AC DC. He goes, it's an old one. He goes, but this is like the staple of TIG welding.
Right.
He goes, this is a great unit for doing aluminum.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, great. So I paid him to help me out with the stuff that I'm doing, and now I'm doing it all.
Yeah. Excellent.
You know? And I said, let me start with this. I got to get this rear end in the car suspended. So I got the rear at ride height, based off the height of the car and where I want the ride height to be. And then what I did was I put a piece of 2x3 across the jack stands, so the flat bottom of the 4-link brackets sits on that 2x3, which allows me to shove the rear end over. You know, so I equalized the lengths of the lower links, which set your wheelbase.
Yeah.
And then I used my laser pointer, that $7 or $9 tool that I got.
Right.
I put it on the frame rail, and it puts a line down on the housing.
Yeah.
And then it generates a line that comes up about an inch, if you will, like stick it on something. And it was a matter of just measuring from the 4-link bracket to the end of the laser line.
Right.
And then it was just like tap the rear end this way, tap the rear end that way, boom, boom. Identical, you know, and you take a look. It's kind of hard to see if you're at any kind of angle, but yeah, the even if you ran like a plumb bob, it's right there, or a square.
Yeah.
You know, it's identical.
I tell you that's one of the things I would love to do. I would love to be down there to work with you on this stuff and just get schooled a little bit
Yeah.
because I haven't done that style of work, and I would love to get my hands in something like that.
Yep. Yeah, it's all. I mean, it's all about measuring and squares. I got magnets. I've got large
Yeah.
squares, 6-inch. I got a rafter square. I got a 6-inch square. I got the laser.
Well,
I got
yeah,
plumb
that's the thing.
bobs, and it's a matter of just measuring, and going left to right, then do diagonals.
You know,
You know.
that's the thing. I'm all about that. Like my buddy Paul, when he came over last night, I was going to measure. I was going through some metal block literature. I wanted to measure the air horn gap, and it was like 11/64, which is like 0.04678 or whatever. No tool exists that's that size.
Feel a gauge.
So there I am with like a veneer caliper, and I'm measuring all this stuff. He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I want to get fine." He's like, "You don't have to be that exact." I'm like, "Yeah, I do." I'm like, "Yeah." So I
Feeler
actually found
gauge. You can do that with a feeler gauge.
I found 2 feeler gauges that I put together, and I got it. You know,
Exactly.
it's like that's the stuff I like doing. I like to work to exacting tolerances.
Yeah.
So I love working in a machine shop. You know,
That's it.
it's like work to 100,000 tolerance. Yeah, no problem. I can't make molding fit on my window.
Speaking
could
of machine shops, a buddy of mine, Steve, the guy that drove the black Trans Am for Hot Rod Magazine, he's got a 110 volt lathe.
Mhm.
It's an 11 by 24.
Wow.
And he wants to sell it. He wants
Okay.
like $950 or $1,000 for it.
Uh-huh.
I texted him, I'm like, dude, what's the spindle size? He's like, what do you mean? I'm
Yeah.
like, how big of a piece of tubing or bar stock can I slide through from the left side all the way through the chuck?
And does it some of them they dead end, some of them you can't go out, so you got to see if it is open.
He said it is, and it's
Okay,
he
good.
says you can put something that's like just slightly over an inch.
That's a
through it.
small lathe. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a small lathe, but like I wouldn't have anything bigger than that
Okay.
that I would need to be. In other words, that I would want to slide through.
Right.
You know, if I had to make bushings or something like that, you're going to stick them in the chuck,
Yeah.
and then you're going to bring the tailstock,
Right.
you know, to solidify, and then you're gonna part.
And you know, it's even nicer. You put a collet mount system in it so you can use the collets. We had one in the machine shop. It was air powered. So you put the collet and you throw the switch and it would just clamp on the whatever it was. It was like, I mean, don't get your finger in there.
So I may pick that up and put it in the other shop.
Nice.
Because what I was thinking is I can adapt. In other words, when I had the chassis shop, we had from a company called Mittler Brothers out in the Midwest with their tubing notcher.
Mhm.
And what it is it's like a 2 horsepower motor with gear reduction,
Yeah.
and it uses end mills.
Oh, cool.
So you buy these long end mills, they supply them to you, they sell them in different diameters.
Right.
So you've got, say you're doing 1 5/8 and you're doing a roll bar. You'd put 1 5/8 into the chuck, an end mill, and then you've got a vise that's 360-degree swivel. It's X, Y, and Z.
Uh-huh.
So the jaws was set up, you know, like a V. Slide the tube in, turn it to the angle that you need, flip on the motor, and you crank the tube into the end mill, like the way I use the hole saw notcher.
Right.
Instead, you're moving the tube. So you could do the same thing with a lathe. You could do the same thing with a Bridgeport.
Right.
If you've got the vise.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, this lathe I could use the lathe for doing a lot of stuff. And I could also do the deal where I can get the end mills and put end mills in it.
Yeah.
And just attach a vise that's a 360 swivel vise.
Right.
And put the type of jaws in that I need. And I could actually notch stuff on the lathe.
How many flutes on the end mill do they use?
Well, they're
4,
hog
6, 8?
mills. They're
Okay.
hog mills, and they're usually spiral.
Oh,
so there's
yeah.
a
Okay.
lot of teeth on them.
Yeah, I know the one you mean. Right.
Yeah. They call them hog end mills, and
Yeah,
they
I've
got
seen
a
those
lot
from
of
the
teeth.
side a lot. Yeah, they come in from
Well, because that's what you're doing. You're not cutting with the bottom of the mill. You're
Right.
cutting with the side.
the
of the
side.
mill.
Yes, right.
Right.
Yeah, I've
So
seen
you
those.
set your angle and you just slowly drive the tube into
Right.
the end mill, and you wind up with a perfect notch.
Yep.
If you've got to do an offset, we had a set of vice jaws that would pop out, and you'd flip them, and it would move the tube up and down
Yeah.
to do an offset.
Right.
You know, so it's like $5,000 unit.
Yeah.
I'm not spending $5,000 to build the other car.
No.
And this whole saw deal has been dead on. You saw the pictures of
Oh
the
yeah.
notches.
Oh, beautiful.
So I'm not complaining about it at all. But
No,
you know,
not at all.
having a lathe is something that I kind of miss.
Yeah, like you said, just to be able to make bushings. And actually, there's a project I want to. I've built 2 different carburetor stands for 4 barrels. But what I want to do is I want to make the legs. I want to put them in, put some stock in the lathe and taper them so the carburetor will just fit over the tapered lathe. But you need a lathe. So yeah, that's on my wish list still.
I had a really, really nice one at the shop and up on the island.
Yeah.
It was big. It was a gap bed lathe,
Okay.
and it was big. I
Oh, we're going to Pancho Villa's this Sunday night in Huntington.
Oh yeah,
The Mexican joint. Yeah, we're gonna go.
yeah.
We're gonna go up there.
Eaten there before.
My daughter's birthday. It was the last place we went, like right before the pandemic hit and everything shut down. That was the last place we ate, and we're going back this Sunday.
That's cool.
Good Mexican food, man. Good stuff.
Oh yeah.
What you need to do, Ray, is you need to get 4 punches, tapered punches, and then cut and weld them onto your plate, and you can set your carburetor on.
You could.
Yeah,
I want
that's
a
true,
big
too.
punch. So I'm looking at like at least the main body of the taper. I'm looking at like for a carburetor hole. So I'm looking like 1/4 inch, 5/16.
Yeah.
So I need some big punches.
Because on my carburetor table, I had a lady finger, or pry bar that I put on the side, and you just set this carburetor down on top of it. You slid that down over top of the hole.
Oh, nice.
But you could just take you get 4 because I saw a guy do it on YouTube. That's the reason why for his plate he took a carburetor plate, a base.
Yeah.
And he had 4 punches, and he welded them onto that so that it just slid right on top and held it up and so forth.
That would work. Yeah, I made 2 different stands, and I made them for the both bolt patterns, for like the square flange and for the spread bore flange. I just got to move the 2 studs into separate holes. But I made 2 of them, and it's neither one's perfect. I should just buy one and call it a day.
It's the only way to work on a carburetor because the linkage hangs down. You can't put it on the work.
Yeah. Well, actually, what I have is I bought them years ago, plastic feet. They're tapered feet, and you put them on. It just sits on a bench, and everything clears. You think I'd be happy with that? They work. No, I had to make something else. So
I think Caroso sells something like that.
Yeah. No, I just like making stuff. That's all it is.
Or
Just
Mr.
like
Gasket.
So like just the taper punch.
oh, yeah, that would work. Yeah.
So
That's a
you
big
take
punch.
right. So you take 4 of these, and you'd weld them in, and then that way you have the height and everything sits on here.
Right.
I don't have a car. Actually, I can't believe I don't have a carburetor sitting next to me.
Yeah,
I normally have one, but I took them on the other side of the garage. But that was
I actually don't either. Yeah.
it's
I don't
kind of
have
weird.
any either. Both of the all my carburetors are at the other shop.
Yeah. So Brian, let me ask you this: are you sleeping in the middle of the bed tonight, or what?
No. Not yet.
Whenever my wife is out,
Yeah.
I sleep right in the middle of the bed. I'm like, this is where I want to be.
No, they don't leave until tomorrow. So
Oh, okay. So now
one more night. I
maybe
got.
tomorrow night then.
Man, I can't believe I don't have a carburetor sitting over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about because we have like a California King.
Yeah.
It's bigger than a King.
Yep, that's what we got. California King.
There's a lot of real estate to begin with, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's long.
Right.
Yep.
So yeah, next week I'll be spread out, and I know the dog will be up there.
Yeah.
He's a pain in the ass.
A California is something like 8 inches wider and 6 inches longer or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
We had a California Queen waterbed for like 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or House of Aquarius in Valley Stream. You know, it was like
we were just. I told the wife we had a California King and it was a waterbed, and it was like right out of like late 70s, early 80s. It was
that's when I got mine.
it was a wood frame, had a big mirror along the thing. I mean, it was an awesome bed.
That's what we had for 25
Man,
years.
I missed it. I missed my waterbed so much.
I did upgrade somewhere along the line from the standard waterbed bag to the fully baffled one.
Yeah, I ruined the baffle.
Big difference, boy. That's
yeah. We had gotten a baffle, and when we were moving, not knowing, well, when I drained the water out of it, I was picking it up, folding it over. So every time I picked it up, I slid the baffle down. So then when we went to go fill it up, it was all the baffle was down on one end, and I couldn't move. Right. I destroyed it. And then I had one that had gotten when we did the floors and took it apart, and this time, but mold had set in.
Yeah,
and it was a real mess.
I used to put a treatment in the bed that would keep mold down. You know, it was I don't remember what it was, but
then we went with one of those bladder bed. You know, it had like 6 inches of regular bed that cut down, and then they had a bladder and a water bladder in the center. Yeah. And the problem with that was you couldn't get the size big enough for both of us, and I mean it wasn't just enough room.
Right.
And then we went on this memory foam therapeutic bull crap, and I'm ready for my waterbed again. I'm ready for that. Bring back that wood frame, that big old wood frame.
Yeah. It was cool. I remember they gave us T-shirts when we bought the bed, and their slogan was "Don't float alone." It was like House of Aquarius, don't float alone.
Yeah.
And it was cool because they had a waterbed, a queen size waterbed set up in the store on inverted Dixie cups. And the idea was to show, because everybody was afraid, oh, you're going to collapse my floor. The floor is going to pull away from the wall. There was all sorts of wives' tales. And they said, here it is. It's all about spreading out the pressure. And they had a whole chart of pounds per square inch. And they said an average sized woman wearing a high heel shoe, a stiletto heel shoe, put like 3,000 pounds per square inch on that floor. Whereas the waterbed over those cups put all like 30 or 40 pounds per area, because it's a large area with a lot of surface area, and the high heel is a point. You know, people don't understand this. When they read it, they could maybe understand. You know, like they said, an elephant displaces, you know, its weight over more area than I forget. There was another animal.
Big round flat feet.
Yeah, big flat feet. It displaces the weight. You know.
Yeah.
So it was cool. I was back in the day. It was
back in the day, man. I tell you.
And man, I had all the ones we had heaters in them. So in the winter, we'd fire up that heater. Like, oh man, the freaking bed was warm. It was nice.
And I'm a little bit heavier, so the water was. I liked it because the water was a little cooler lower down.
Yeah. No, I always like the cool water in the summer. Yeah, it was nice getting into that bed.
You're pushing all the water over to your wife, and she's up here.
You had to down here.
Yeah. That's before the baffle. Then we got one that had like, I think that like the first ones only had like 2 baffles to try to keep that to keep level or whatever, because you jump in there and shoot the white across the room.
Yeah. Right. Good stuff.
Man, that was awesome.
Good stuff.
Oh well.
All right.
Well, I'm gonna try to get your stuff off right Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, whenever you can get it out.
I just gotta try to figure out get the bills all straightened out.
Yeah, I know. If you want, give me a call. I'll go through it all with you, because I know there's a bunch of It
Yeah.
got a little confusing, and now we got the
And-
new stuff in there. So
Yeah, especially because who's getting all the guns?
those are actually going to go to Guyana. Those are going to be Derek's. They're going to
Okay.
Guyana, yeah. Yeah, he was asking me about his battery, his that.
Yeah, I got all
this.
this stuff sitting right
Don't
here.
worry.
I know.
I said, if Brian needs help with the order, I'll talk to him. We'll work it all out. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to try to get that stuff off this weekend. Actually, I wanted to do it earlier, but I've been messing with my truck.
Yeah. No, that's important.
Pain
You
in
know,
the butt.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, whenever you get it, that's fine. The credit card's still good.
I hope credit card's still good.
Actually, $1,000 of dinners I've been putting on, and I don't know. I got to see what my limit is, but I think it should
Yeah, I
be-
gotta. You want me to break it out in 3 easy payments for you, Ray?
yeah. No, it's all right. Just hit it. What the hell?
Just hit it. That's best customer in the world. Just hit it.
Listen. Hey, listen. You buy the stuff, you got to pay for it. So what are you going to do?
hit it
Like,
until the wife says something, right?
yeah. No, it's my card. She doesn't even see it. I get the bill. In fact, I just got one today, and it's $1,000 bill. It's 3 dinners.
3
It's like-
dinners.
Yeah. All of a sudden, I'm the guy that pays for the dinners now. It's like, all right, take my card. What the hell?
When's your
pay for Pancho
birthday?
Villas too?
When's your daughter's birthday?
Yeah, the older one. Yeah,
When? When is it?
on Father's Day. Falls on Father's Day this year.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because
So-
mine was the 10th and Brianna's was the 14th. So.
Yeah. Mine's the 4th and the 20th.
Oh, yeah.
And I engineered it that way. People say, "Hey, when my older daughter was born, she was born in June, obviously. So I saw that like all her friends when they were younger, like you go to all the kids' birthday parties, and like the ones that were in February and March, it sucked because you had to be inside
Oh,
the
yeah,
bouncy
sure.
pit. You couldn't be. And I was so, my wife wanted to get pregnant again. And I was like, I don't want a winter birthday. So it's like I did back counted with the months and all, and I figured out how to stall until oh yeah, I definitely engineered it. I engineered it.
Molly's birthday's in February. So I know all about a winter birthday because there's time. I mean, we had, especially February is like, that's the worst time around here because it's the shittiest weather.
Yeah.
Around this area. So Molly, I had, of course, Emma's is in September and Brianna's is in June. So, but Molly never lets us forget that, she should have 2 birthdays, a winter and a summer birthday. Because,
Right.
That was
It's to this day. I'll bring it up to my wife to say, you did not. I'm like, I sure as hell did so. I remember all those nights I had a leg cramp or my back was bothering me. I was like, yeah.
So
I was ready to go, but
a house full of Geminis too.
Yeah. And now I ended up with 2 of them in June. But so that's all right. That's okay.
It's cool.
My wife goes crazy because me and Brianna being Geminis, my wife goes crazy about having 2 of us
Yeah.
much alike. So it's all right. Can't take it to hell with you, right?
Right.
No.
Exactly.
Oh well.
All right, boys, I'm out.
All right, boys. That's so for Playing in Traffic. Lewis Lee, Ray Guarino, Chassis John, Matco Man Brian. We'll be back next week with maybe a guest, maybe not. And
Who knows? Oh,
enjoy Cocoa Beach. Enjoy the middle of the bed, Brian. I'll enjoy that pastrami. I may go have some right now, in fact.
I know that sounds good for a midnight snack. I wish we were neighbors.
I always give the cat some turkey before I go to bed. I think she'll be eating turkey. I'll be eating the pastrami.
Damn,
My
that sounds
dog
good.
Like that. If I go in the refrigerator at night,
Yeah.
he hears me unwrapping cold cuts or whatever,
Right.
and he sneaks right up and he
Yeah.
just sits there waiting.
Yes. Mine
Like,
jumps right on the table.
I know what you're doing,
Yep.
and I want some.
Feed me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
He's bad that
Yep.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they
All
were
right.
like that. It's like those dogs. They can hear that cheese unwrap, right? They can be
Yeah.
a long way. So,
Exactly.
All right.
all
Talk
right,
to you.
guys, take it
All right,
easy.